Oh, fuck. Hold on. I got the fucking names all screwed up here with me and you, Jen.
Why? It looks fine.
It says Jen and Kerr. I'm
and
not
Jessica
Jen.
and Kevin.
Yeah. I'm not
Doesn't
Jen.
matter.
It does. It's freaking irritating me. I blame Kevin ever since I met Kevin.
Is there somebody outside?
I don't know. Yeah, I'll go check.
Yeah.
Can't you look at your Ring doorbell?
I don't know. He taped it earlier because I was doing yard work, and I guess it kept going off.
How you doing, Jess? You look tired.
I am fucking exhausted. Like 100%. Like stick a fork in me. I'm done.
Well, you only
What's your
have
name there? Type it.
Birds.
Oh, it was.
She doesn't like.
Yeah, but it's just like everything. The company. It's
capital J.
Just not enough hours in the day.
All right. Show. Well, this is a very solemn, freaking quiet start of the show.
It is.
What the hell?
It's been a relaxing day. I've watched no less than 5 hours of TikTok today, and I didn't come up with one single idea.
That's not true.
I don't really even know what to say to that.
Well, okay, except for that one TikTok I did earlier today.
So how many videos does that equate to? 5 hours of TikTok?
Of 30-second videos? Yeah, you figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I mean, some of them are 3 minutes. And then
let's just put it this way. That's Kevin every day.
Yeah. So,
every day.
But now they have TikTok stories that started, so I got to try and figure that out. And then I just got invited to I can upload 10-minute TikToks now.
Oh God!
Wow. Doesn't
That's
that
a
defeat
TikTok,
the whole
TikTok.
Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of TikTok?
Yeah. It does, short, but and there are a lot of videos that I'll watch because you can fast forward. If you see that bar is really wide, that means it's going to be like a 3-minute video. So a lot of times I just skip them. I like the 30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah,
and I'm good. Anything longer than that, I don't. I don't watch.
So what categories do you gear towards?
I don't. I see. Even when I signed up, like I said,
Random?
I just got on the For You page, and then you just scroll through, and then as you start, you just got to make sure what you like is what you like. Don't like random stuff, and they really tailor TikTok to you. So a lot of woodworking stuff, a lot of heavy machinery, CNC, history.
What was your
CNC
favorite
Music
one
Factory.
today? CNC Music Factory? Yep. He was dancing.
He was.
I got
power. What was my favorite TikTok?
Yeah, today. In a 5-hour span.
We just said I watched 7,000 of them. I don't remember a single one. So
wow.
yeah.
That's time lost in life right there.
Yeah. I believe I retained in the cortex back there. There's some untapped knowledge that will come out someday.
The next time you get an idea in a couple of days, it's going to be from a memory that's buried away.
It's like the movie Inside Out. They're scrambling right now to capture that memory to bring it forward for you to.
Never saw it, did you?
Oh my gosh!
It's one of my favorite movies.
Awesome.
I took Gabby to go see it because I thought it would help, maybe see if she could articulate if that's kind of somewhat what it feels like to have autism, because it has all the emotions and stuff, and they have them in categories and all kinds of stuff. And she loved that movie. She watched that movie a lot.
Yeah.
I took
Kevin, you got
to go see it.
Yeah.
We just watched the other night the Adam Project. Have you seen it yet?
Loved it.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
That little kid is my favorite human being.
We watched Spider-Man last night. The new Spider-Man. We bought it.
Yeah, I heard. Isn't Tobey Maguire back?
Yeah.
All three of them.
Yeah,
it was good. It was actually really good.
It was good. It was really good. He's
I never got into any of the Spider-Mans.
He plays obviously an older Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, from another dimension.
Okay.
Is it dimension?
Yeah, multiverse.
Another multiverse, another universe. But it's actually pretty cool how they tied it all together and brought in all three Spider-Mans
and the villains.
and the
Okay.
villains and everything. And
Oh, did
you know,
what's his name that played the Goblin? Did he come back?
yeah,
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe.
Oh,
He sure did.
yeah, Willem Dafoe. I can never remember.
He
his
was
name.
really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I loved Adam Project. I thought it was
Oh, yeah.
great from
Yeah, it was
beginning to
hilarious.
end.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
really, really great. Well done.
It was good. Then we watched. What was that movie?
Monster Hunner.
Don't watch
with
We've seen it with
oh my god.
Jojovic.
Mila Jovovich. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did we watch that?
we did.
I don't remember.
I think
I
we
mean-
started to watch it and we didn't finish it. I remember
Oh
watching
no,
the beginning
you
of
should
it.
have finished it because now we have to watch because I'm pretty sure there's a sequel coming.
Yeah, going to be a sequel coming.
Really?
So.
It was horrible.
Really?
Yeah.
I
It was
love her.
probably one of the
That was the only reason we watched
and
it.
it was the worst.
Love
It
her.
was
Because
not good.
because I gave Jess a choice the
Resident
last
Evil.
Resident Evil, which I still haven't figured out if that's a prequel or if that's
Yeah.
like I think it's like 30 years after the last one.
I wish we would have picked that one.
Yeah.
And
Is that the
honestly,
one?
I want to see the new Resident
Is that the
Evil.
one where they said? I think I was reading that the one that was supposed to be the last Resident Evil sucked. So they had to come out with this one, the most recent one. Is it
I don't
like
know, we watched
Raccoon
the other
City
one.
or
I thought it
something?
was-
Yeah. It's like Raccoon City. I think it's like after the fact. The last Resident Evil wasn't
Yeah,
wasn't
it
bad.
wasn't bad.
It like I said, it kind of left you like they could have done another one.
It did.
But
I was
think it-
reading
but-
that. I didn't
but- yeah,
say
but I-
that.
I
It's
think-
not
yeah,
my
I think
personal opinion.
Okay, I think they wrapped the story up
he is
pretty good.
hyped
Wow.
up for whatever reason. I do not know what's happening.
Yeah, that's what I read. That's the reason why
Yeah.
they did that one. But
Yeah.
I remember her all the way back in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie.
Mila Jovovich was
Yeah.
it?
Mhm.
That was back when
Yeah.
she used to be
She
a
was
folk
just
singer.
a little kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She
How do you
used
not
to be
know that? She was in what was that? Fifth Element.
Yep.
Fifth Element,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she was in Dazed and Confused because she started off as like a model and also was a folk singer.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look it up, she's got a couple
She
albums.
was she used to hang out with the one who used to always go, bitch.
Yeah, the guy with the dark hair who was supposed to have the party
Yeah.
the parents they delivered the beer
That
to
was her
early.
boyfriend.
That was her boyfriend, and she actually, I think, when they were out
She
in
was
the
always
woods, was playing
smoking
guitar.
pot, and yeah,
she actually had a big mole, like something
Yeah.
right here on her head back
She
that
was,
Dan had
she
to
was
remove.
sitting in that chair, just like hanging out.
the
like,
egg
Yeah, the
chair,
egg chair.
the bamboo egg chair. Yeah,
Trying to find
Yeah,
a
right there. It says her name.
Yeah, I know. Just hopefully I had a picture because I've seen that movie 100 times and I
How
just
did you
know.
not know
Google
she was
her
in
name, Kevin.
Yeah.
Google her name and just Dazed and Confused and some
Yeah,
pictures of
that's
her
what I
will
just did.
pop
Let me
up.
just I'll
Yeah.
just do an image.
She's real young. She had some big old like mole on the top. of
Oh,
her
that
head
was
they removed.
yeah.
How did you
God.
not know that?
Now that I see her, it's like
Yeah, and she was
I don't
playing
know.
guitar, and it was like
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
my buddy going, "Yeah,
yeah, well
she's."
that
My buddy was into her
Monster-
music back then. It was like she was a
Oh.
model, but it was really music. My buddy's like, "Oh yeah, she does really good music.
Huh.
You got to listen to her songs." I listened to a few things that she did, and it's pretty good. It's
yeah,
kind of folksy, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I mean,
yeah, she's
but
definitely on that hippie train.
yeah,
Yeah.
she definitely is like a very talented.
Yeah, she that movie though. No, that was
yeah.
that
There's
was not.
there's the big egg chair.
Yeah, there's the egg chair. That egg chair, I always wanted it.
Love
I
it.
just wanted that
But,
chair so
but
bad.
yeah, we should have saw that.
Yeah, we
Watched-
should have probably.
watched
But we
the
thought
Raccoon
the
City.
trailer for this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not-
All the good parts were in
Yeah,
Is
there.
it
but
supposed to be
not
on
even-
like a graphic? Is it either a graphic novel or
Oh,
a video game or something?
Oh, I could see it being off of a graphic novel.
I could see
Yeah,
it
for
being
sure.
at least a video game
Yeah.
because all the
because it was like
goddamn
supposed to
wacko spiders.
it had this really big build up because everybody was waiting for this movie to be released because it was based off of either a game
Oh, okay.
or
Well,
something. But
Maybe that's why there's some
Well,
things we missed
Let's
because
put it this way. I mean, it starts off really weird. At first, we were like, "Wait, is this the movie?" And so we were just like, "Okay, whatever." And then it goes to like because it goes from new world to current world, like meaning our like current
Mhm.
day and stuff. But the monster, like there was only two, a fucking creepy ass thing in the ground, which everything, all these movies
Yeah.
all have
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
coming out of sand. and
Dune, everything
Dune,
is coming
yeah,
out of the
so
sand.
everything comes out of the sand, and then these creepy ass spider
blame
things.
Tremors for
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
That was-
yeah.
but that was a great movie.
Yeah,
That was a good-
Tremors had to be there.
Tremors was a
Yeah,
good
I think that was the
movie.
first. Well, no, or I don't know if that was the original.
Don't even
Dune,
try to guess.
But yeah,
what was the first
Yeah.
for sand?
Probably
Everything
the
comes out
original
of
Dune,
sand.
probably.
I'm like everything comes
Yeah.
out of sand.
But,
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
the original Dune was before
Yeah.
that, wasn't it?
The original Dune? No. Dune
No,
was
was
after.
that
The
after? So
original
then it's
Star Wars
Star
was
Wars.
late 70s, but
We'll say Star Wars.
it's definitely not the
Sam.
first movie with
Yeah.
anything in the sand.
Well, needless to say, when the sequel comes out, we will have to watch it because
Unfortunately.
obviously
Yeah.
we've
Mhm.
watched this one now. But we were
Oh.
both sitting there just like, what the fuck? It was
Yeah.
not good.
Oh, you're talking about speaking of TikToks and then Resident Evil. Which one I watch? There's a guy on TikTok. He has an Etsy page and he sells vials of movie viruses. So like he has the T-cell virus from Resident Evil.
That's great.
He's got from like I think it's Spider-Man, where like this black glob, whatever, I don't know what it is. But and then they look like he actually has like the medical crimping where he can crimp the vials, recreates the logos from the movies.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's pretty.
Yeah,
Pretty
for
bad.
somebody who like collects all.
I want the T-cell virus.
Yeah, I would do
That's
that.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's no. Like you need any more shit. Like you need any
Yeah.
more knickknacks of crap.
So lead us in, Kevin, before we start this knick-knack of crap of Kevin's.
Just say
All
your
right.
name. Just say your name. That's all you have to do is say your
But we've
name.
never said.
But it doesn't make sense when we say it at the very end. Why do we have to say it twice?
Because twice is nice.
I don't like it.
All right, for this one episode only, we're gonna say it Jessica's way.
Thank you.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Carrie,
I'm Jen.
and we are the
The
Broadleaf
Broadleaf
Bullies.
Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We are the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
Can we redo it?
No. Kevin purposely made it sound like, oh, I'm Kevin.
Care today. Care followed suit.
I listen.
And he decided to be a fucking
He's the
butthole
leader,
about it.
man. If he would have said
Okay.
it all poppy, I would have said it poppy. If he would have said it all, you can't have this.
No, it's okay.
Up
We
and
just
down.
realized Kevin has to have it his way all the time. Like it's cool. It's fine. We'll just do it that way for the rest of our lives. It's got to be Kevin's way.
Just makes life easier.
Apparently,
Kevin Sheldon.
I'm
Kevin
just
Sheldon.
The same.
I'm just gonna rebel for the rest of my life.
What are you smoking?
I was smoking your Silent Green #1.
I've got the Silent Green number 3.
Really? I'm lazily not smoking that cigar. I'm smoking this Stogie Road Cigars Big Tony.
Nice.
And I have a backup, and I've been getting into this one here. It's the Alec and Bradley White Gold.
Yeah.
It's a good, just
I don't think
everyday
I've had
cigar.
I haven't had that.
It's it's like a mild Connecticut with just a little bit of flavor to it.
I haven't been buying any Ezra Zion cigars. I've let a couple go by that I wanted.
Have you
But I
started
did
your
not-
blind 5?
No, I just
What
talked
the
to
fuck?
Oh
Kevin
my
about
gosh,
that.
Jessica.
First
Kerr's
off,
been
I
done
had
for days.
I had no
10 to
idea.
smoke. I had 10 to smoke.
Can I hand up? Hand is up.
I'm
Can I
not
speak?
finished. I'm not finished reprimanding you.
Listen, I can't keep up in your bullies chat at all. I have literally had so much shit between this shit, my stuff at work, and then come out. I'm tired. I don't read. I will be honest. I don't read the bullies chat half the time for the last like week. I like sometimes click on it and then I'm like, fuck that. There's
I
like
get days
50
like that.
messages. So
I
listen.
get you.
So I had no idea that you started. I thought maybe Kevin would have said, hey, Kerr started. But he just did it because I knew he had started. And I was like, oh, I got time. Kerr has 10. And so I said to Kevin today, I said, what the fuck? Did you guys smoke one for breakfast and then for dinner? Like, what
Well, when
the
you
fuck?
have 10, you got to fucking double time it a little
I
bit.
thought I had like another week before
Another
you
month?
were going to be done. Yeah, well, that too.
I got your boxes. I opened it up. I
To
put
be
it down. I
honest-
took a picture, and I'm like, I'm starting with Jess's.
Well, I didn't know you would start right away. I thought you would wait. I don't
Why
know.
not?
Taste makes waste.
Well, I don't have the time that them two currently have by being in,
The fuck
in
what
an area that you can
like
sit
I
and
got
smoke. Like I'll
tons
bring
of
it
time?
to work, I'll just tell everybody to go fuck themselves and sit outside
Might
and
as
take
well.
notes.
Smoke in the
You know?
bathroom.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yes,
the
that will go
Wi-Fi
over
in the
so
bathroom.
well.
But you
Who
see,
cares?
Jess, I don't have all this time. I have no idea where you're getting it. I have all this time.
Meaning that you're at home where you can smoke.
Yes, but when I'm doing these reviews, right, I have to make sure I am 100% paying attention to it. So it's not like a cigar that I can just smoke and then sit there and type up a couple of emails and shit. I literally every cigar
Takes it very seriously.
I smoked it first thing in the morning where I got up maybe a little bit earlier, got some coffee.
Yeah.
I exaggerate. I'm not waking up earlier, but it sounded pretty good, didn't it? And then, I smoke my cigar and then I start my day. And then at the end of the evening, or at the end of the day, after I eat dinner, I'll grab another cigar and I would smoke it then. And I always made sure that, there was either the first cigar of the day or there was several hours before I smoked my next cigar that, from the blind five.
Yeah.
So I realized I had to double time it. And what I did was I alternated them between yours and Kevin's.
Well, I'll smoke them this week.
She sounds so excited.
No, I was in the middle of telling you guys something, and then Kerr started going on a rant about me not doing the blind.
I didn't. So. You were in the middle, so I would never.
I was telling you that I hadn't been buying the Ezra Zion cigars, and then all of a sudden you cut me off and asked me about the.
Well, you paused. I thought that was a moment.
You took a breath.
I thought you were done.
Well, I was gonna say I finally did buy a 5-pack of the Lucille. So I was going to send you one, Kerr.
Oh, the new 2022.
But you noticed she said I was going to send you one.
No longer.
Maybe I'll wait till after I smoke.
Well, just don't wait till you're done with this blind five. It'll be a while. It'll get some good aging on it, at least.
Yeah. No. I had other projects that I really needed to get done that I wanted to get done. So it just wasn't on my top priority list. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest.
That's fine. Listen, you're not
kids
part of the blind five. You can't forgive.
The kids had spring break, and I was still having to work, and there was a couple days that I didn't. So my brother and I met up at a garden nursery, and we picked out some plants and stuff. And then yesterday, my friend's son had his birthday party, so we went and did that. And then this morning, I got up and I planted all my plants and stuff. So.
You see, and you know what? You can easily just grab the cigar and smoke doing that, but you want to give it time. You want to give it your full attention. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to focus on some other stuff that I've been putting off.
Now, did we get different cigars or we get the same?
You guys got the same.
Oh, I thought because I thought you said that we got different.
Nope.
So okay.
So now you have tainted me because you talked to me about the cigars. So now I'm gonna have a skewed fucking.
I've given you no details about any of the cigars.
You told me you haven't talked to her, Kev. There's a definite gap in communication here.
Yeah. So all right.
Jess, I was just giving you a hard time. I didn't need to know your whole itinerary, Jess.
I love it that we got the same cigars. I said because now it'll be
to see the different of opinion. With them.
Right. Well, that's what I was going for.
You did not get the same ones from us.
Yeah, I know. My polls were kind of a giveaway.
You got 3 Lanceros, so or whatever.
Jess, the 6x50 you sent me is a little fat Lancero. Wasn't exactly the same. I laughed though when I got him. I'm like, look at Jess has these. I didn't know it right away. I'm like, Jess made the cigar bands. Kevin put his in a freaking plastic steel sealed bag with a number printed and stuck on it.
Originally, I was going to make the bands and give a little hint of what possibly the cigar could be, and then I was like, I don't have time for that.
No. I just turned my
do some cool artwork on it, and then I was like, no. I was like, but I'll make all the bands look the same.
I didn't know what to do, and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of Stogie Road cigar bands. I just turned them inside out and just wrote a number on it.
Yeah,
that works too, though. Hey, whatever.
That works.
So how's your knee, Kevin, after stepping on the frog? And did you squish it or did just barely touch it?
I wanted to get into this.
I didn't step on the frog. It jumped on me.
It jumped on him.
I thought he stepped on him.
Yeah, no.
No, it just
That's
touched him.
worse. I don't know which is worse. The frog
A
jumping
frog
on me or stepping on it.
Yeah. Oh no.
Either
yeah.
way, it's pretty freaking bad.
It jumped
That's
on me and
worse.
I don't
startled
know.
me. Yeah.
I think that
It's
would
a
be
frog.
It
because
is
you
a
don't really
frog.
know what it is at first.
A
Because if it's
frog.
dark out, you just know something landed on you. I don't know.
Hi, Kevin.
I tell you, it
either
was.
way, it's pretty
Yeah.
bad.
I just wanted you to put me on your next cigar band.
Yeah.
No, I honestly at first I thought he was laughing, and I was like,
And he was
because he's like, bring my crutches, and I was like, what is going on? So I go towards the door, and he's like, a frog, and I laughed. I was just standing there laughing like a fucking frog, and then he was like in pain, and I realized quickly that it wasn't laughter, it was pain.
I tell you,
as he was saying frog, but I was still laughing.
It was an eye opener because I would have thought after 2.5 months, I would be a lot more healed than I am. But even just hyper extending my leg from just startling, like I almost threw up. That's how that's how
he
bad.
Like kicked the kid out of the bathroom.
I was dry heaving. The pain was that intense, and I wouldn't have thought it would have been that bad after 2.5 months.
How
But
big was the frog?
what's
I'm
that?
not.
How big was it?
It was probably
Oh,
tiny.
I don't know.
It was probably
little
small.
baby.
I'm not laughing. See, the hard part about this story is I can't imagine the pain because I really.
No, me
I've
neither.
had some serious injuries like that where you get startled and it's like motherfucker.
Yeah,
But knowing you got startled by a frog
it's
is
kind
the
of.
part that makes me laugh through the pain.
Yeah.
That's why I was laughing, because when he kept saying frog, I was like, "What the fuck is happening here?"
How pissed were you, Kevin, being in that much pain and needing help, and then trying to
it.
explain to her what's going on, and she just laughed.
It sounded like laughter.
Yeah.
It sounded like
just
laughter.
like it. Yeah.
He was like hyperventilating.
There were tears of joy
Hyperventilating.
coming streaming down my face.
Hyperventilating,
Listen,
crying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was
I guess
laughter.
I am a big gigantic fucking asshole, because I was fucking like, this is the most ridiculous fucking thing ever. And I kind of was like,
oh my god,
in
is it on the
disbelief.
Ring video?
Like,
Can we see it?
I doubt it.
Oh.
I
my
doubt
God.
it is.
You have to
because you
check
probably
it.
didn't activate it, because
would be
he didn't
freaking
even make it all the
great.
way out the door. Apparently,
Oh my
before
God,
the
could you
frog-
The frog was waiting for him.
That would be a TikTok viral video.
Oh god.
God.
And I feel bad if he's in pain, but at the end of the day too, I was kind of like, what
You
the fuck is happening?
You can't negate the reason why, though. I mean, it's and
fucking
like I said,
hilarious.
I empathize with you, especially having a knee injury. It's the worst, one of the worst pains. The only other pain I had that was worse is I had a really bad hip flexor where like the muscle tears away from your hip.
That's
And-
fucking bad.
And it's like, I remember when it happened, I was laying on the ground. I'm like, help me up. I couldn't even get up. Like I was just that.
Oh yeah, no. When your hip, you can't.
It's like your lower back. It's
Yeah.
like nothing. And they helped me up, but I was like trying to run. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't run.
Yeah.
I could barely freaking move. And any sudden movement just felt like someone was stabbing me in the side with a hot knife. And a knee pain, when it's really bad like that, it's
I could imagine.
even now. You see me, I'll get freaking. I've had banged up knees a little bit, some surgery, but every once in a while, man, it'll just kind of give out and it'll feel like a toothache in my knee, like a real deep, sharp pain.
That's the way mine is at the end of just the day. Like usually at night, I'll lay in bed for an hour with ice on it, because just being normal movement, crutches around the house. After 12 hours, it has its own little heartbeat. You can almost see it just thump. So I every night, I put ice on it and then wake up in the morning and it hurts. It hurts first thing in the morning until you get some blood flowing. And
yeah, I'm the same way with pain. When the pain gets that great, I start puking. I did with my back, and I did with
your
my kidney
freaking
stone
kidney
too when it was
stone.
obstructed.
Oh.
She grabbed
I
a
just
can
start
and just was
heaving
vomiting.
because the pain
Oh,
was
no.
that
I
You
intense.
were, you were
I
also
find
a
it-
little septic too on that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Anytime I've had some major issues, like I had chipped a bone in my ankle and it was like a size of a grapefruit. I don't know. I feel like because in sports, like, you know, you just wrap it up and like your adrenaline's pumping and stuff. And so you keep pushing through. And like, that's kind of how it was like for sports. They kind of make you push through your injuries. So for me, it's like anytime I've ever gotten injured, yeah, it sucks. But I just find like a compartment in my brain and I just fucking ignore that it's happening to me. I'm just in denial. And, you know, some people just have that ability to like,
it's afterwards though, which is the freaking the bitch because we were my senior year, first game of the season, I was scraping down the line and someone cracked back and hit my knee. I felt it buckle sideways. I felt something pop, and I was just laying there, and my knee was freaking hurting. And I'm like, senior year, first game of the season. I felt like maybe my knee blew out. There's pain. I felt the pop, and we had a new doctor, new team physician, and he was a partner with our team physician that was there. You know, who did my shoulder surgery and everything. And his name was Dr. Picayune, and he was a younger guy. And he comes out. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh man." So he's like doing all the, you know, the testing on the knees, like pulling on it, pushing on it. He's like, "What do you think?" I said, "If you tell me I can't play anymore, I'm going to fucking kill you." And he looked at me and I go, "I'm going to fucking kill you." And he goes, "Okay, let's help him up. He's fine."
Yep.
And he kind of chuckled, looked at the trainer. He goes, "Boy, that was pretty funny." He goes, "No, he's serious. He probably would have killed you." And we went off and they taped it up and it was a strain. But I could tell you what, man, if that was a strain, I can't imagine what it would have been like
if you
to have a serious full-blown freaking tear.
Yeah.
Just horrible moment. You know, I've had a couple of moments like that where after you get hit, you're laying there going, okay, I'm just gonna lay here for a few minutes because hopefully this isn't serious because this hurts a lot now.
Anytime we had like any injury, we would do therapy before practice and then after practice, and then the same thing before a game. We do like some kind of, you know, treatment, like ice it, whatever. They bandage it all up, and then afterwards you do the same thing, and it was just suck it up. Like
that's the whole what's the jiggy?
But it's different when you actually like
down waves.
Oh yeah.
What do they do to you, Kev? They do the TENS machine.
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound. Yeah, we used to do ultrasound before game, you know, kind of, you know, warm it up. You know,
but it's so short lived. Like Kevin it feels good when he first has it, and then it's like
they do just enough like ultrasound and the electrical stimulation to get me through physical therapy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then once an hour of physical therapy is over with,
he's hurting.
It's the pain is back, and then, you know.
But your pain should definitely be lessened by now, though.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
itself.
The pain is definitely it's a lot more tolerable. You know, it's all. It's,
but it can't be like. I mean, it's been since December 28th. Yeah. If you have the same amount of pain.
No, I would say it's sore all the time. It's sore. You know, so like Jen knows with back. Like I said, I've had back pain where your back goes out and you're down for 3 or 4 days versus your back is sore. Yeah. It hurts, but it's not the stabbing pain. It's just more annoying than it doesn't, you know, doesn't really restrict a lot of what you're doing. But as you're getting more mobile, that pain is also going to increase because you're starting to exercise muscles and you're starting to bend your ligaments, everything else that have been freaking stationary, and it's the recovery time's a little bit faster than the initial injury, but you're still going to get those big spikes of pain depending on if you get physical
comp's going to do.
Go like an hour of physical therapy, or if a frog jumps out and attacks you, you know, it could cause some serious reactions. But
now I've been 2 weeks without any physical therapy because the doctor didn't phone in anymore through workers' comp.
Yeah.
So I've called, left several voicemails. Like I said, they're not calling me back. I mailed them a letter yesterday or a Friday.
Horrible.
Or Friday or Saturday. But yeah, the office, which is 30 minutes away, I had to send them a letter to like, can you please call me?
What's even worse is that he has his follow-up in like a week.
Right.
So it's the doctor's gonna be like, oh, let's see what's going on. I'm sorry, this doctor, no, there's some, such a clusterfuck.
I'm
I'm like so over it
Yeah.
because it's like I just do not understand
Yeah.
the concept. But I was at my friend's birthday party. I was talking to my friend's mom, and she was saying how just they literally want you to like you're gonna be bled dry almost, like you have to go broke. Then you get like all of a sudden, then you'll just get like a payout. But Kevin's not trying to get any money.
No,
he just wants to go back to work.
And there's no payout for me. I only get a payout if I can't go back to work.
Yeah.
So if I can't do my job, that's a payout. And then I got to go find a new career.
But this is still bleeding him, and this is like insane.
Yeah.
It's like just fucking get it together.
This
Give
is
him
my
the therapy.
This is my expressed a personal opinion. If anybody's listening, so this is Kerr's personal opinion on workman's comp. Workman's comp and the way that they work with doctors and therapists, in my professional and personal experience and feelings, is always geared towards what can we do to pay out the least amount of money, and not geared towards how do we get this person healthy and back to work.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about it.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. They make you jump through hoops almost to the point where you're like you said, it's like, listen, if I was faking, I'd tap out by now and be like, okay, I'm ready to go back to work.
Right.
But if it's a serious injury, what you're doing is you're causing more and more issues and problems down the road. And then if a legal action takes place, they're going to bank on the fact that they have big deep pockets and they're screwed.
Fuck you, workman's comp. Go to your regular doctor. Have your regular doctor issue you therapy.
Go through your insurance and then deal with your work.
Do it yourself and go to work.
Yeah,
it's
bullshit.
So ridiculous at this
point.
It is. It's too long. This has been
the doctor is what's really annoying me too, because like we're not going to if you just Google search best orthopedic surgeon in the state of Florida, that's where I'm going. Kennedy White Orthopedic, the #1 rated in the state of Florida.
He seemed very surprised. When we
but
went there the other day.
I know.
How are you not moving this? As he's like manhandling Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin's like, I can't.
He's trying to bend my leg like a popsicle stick, and he's like, I don't know why it's not bending. He goes, when's the last time you bent this? I go, December 28th.
Yeah. It's been a shit show.
It's been a shit show.
Yeah, it's unfortunate
really
when they do that shit.
I just feel I just feel like because it's workman's comp, I'm not being treated as seriously as
probably not.
Well, you're not.
Is if I'd have just went through, it's like, oh, you have regular health insurance and they're paying everything. Let's get you this. Let's get you this. Let's get you this.
That's what I'm saying. He's sitting there saying, why can't you bend your leg? I guarantee you, if it was regular insurance or you're an athlete and you got hurt or, whatever the case may be, it'd be a different story. And I just feel that way because they don't get paid. I don't think there's a big payout with workman's comp.
Yeah.
It's all contractual. And at the end of the day, they just want to freaking get this thing taken care of and ended. And some of these docs, I've seen some docs, man, especially with pain meds when it comes to freaking workman's comp, they'll just dole it out just to freaking, oh, you didn't pay anymore? Nope. Okay, great. They're good. Have a great day.
It was like the first thing you add, do you need anything? I go, no, I don't. Yeah.
I'm not in pain anymore. Okay, you're good. But now I'm hooked on Oxycontin.
Yeah, and he didn't take any pain medicine.
Yeah, I never took any the entire time.
You had to go through, they had this whole step process of seeing a doctor, and then you have to go for another.
We want you to get physical therapy.
Alternate therapy of either physical therapy or you could go to a chiropractor. She went to a chiropractor, and it was like horrible. I think it made it worse.
It did make it worse.
It was like it went from kind of bent over, kind of dealing with it pain to
I couldn't
can't even freaking operate. Can't even move. Can't even sit at work. And then, like I said, when she went in and got surgery, it was like
a week after my MRI. Finally got them to do an MRI because I said, "You're scheduling it. If you bill me, fine. I work for this hospital." Just
because you got injured at work, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor, when he looked at the
MRI,
MRI, was like,
as soon as they
"We're
read
booking you
it, they're
surgery,
like, your surgery's
tomorrow."
next week. It was a hot disc. I already had numbness in my toes. So it wasn't like I was asymptomatic besides the pain. I had shooting pain down my left leg.
All that
I had
shit
numbness
still wanted
starting
to
in
go
my
to
calf.
a freaking
Still
physical
to this
therapy.
day, 6 years later, 5.5 years later, I have numbness on the outside of my left foot and a little bit towards the middle. It feels like my sock is always bunched in my shoe. Usually I can't feel anything.
Yeah.
The calf is just pins and needles.
And all that is still requiring to go see a chiropractor. It was
Yeah.
like after the chiropractor, she came back and looked 10 times worse.
It was
And
horrible.
she went in, got surgery, and then, like I said before, I think we talked about it.
My disability check I
disability,
got the first day back
disability
to work,
check
like 9 weeks
arrived the
later.
first day she went back to work. Like,
Yeah.
because they're like, oh well, I remember it was a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll probably be out for like 4 to 6 weeks.
No.
It was like at 4 weeks. Jen's still screaming as I'm trying to roll her over.
Because it made
Because
sense that
sex
you have
was
to be-
really hard then, so it had to be really done.
because you have to be fully healed. Like, I'm thinking, oh yeah, sure, 4 weeks I'll be back to work. But no, they still open up your back and your spine and move everything, and they want it to be completely healed because if I move the wrong way at work,
way too many freaking open wounds in your body.
Yeah, you
Throughout
have.
the years.
You've
Jesus.
seen a lot of gross wounds.
I've seen a lot of. I've had to pack a lot of gauze and open wounds. And
I
pull
haven't
them
had
out.
to do that. I just have had to do everything.
Her screaming. At
I
top
have
of her
to say
lungs.
the arm cyst was far worse.
I would have rather.
I think
wiped your
that
ass.
I think that pain actually was worse than my back.
You
surgery
cried the whole
pain.
time. I think I would have
Oh
rather.
my god!
And it was
snot coming out of my. It hurt like a mother effer.
And let me
It
tell
was
you something.
horrible.
I think just actually doing it and seeing it, I think I would have rather wiped your ass. I mean, it was. I don't get sick or get grossed out or like nauseous, but just seeing how gross it was, but how much pain she was in, I felt bad. Like I felt like every time I touched her, she was jumping and screaming and crying, like sobbing, as I was packing this wound. But after I think you were at 8 weeks, weren't you? For
With
your
my
back?
back, it was 9.
It was 8 to 9. It was 9 weeks, and it was like she came home from work at the first day. I was like, "Hey, guess what? We got your check today." Whew. Thanks, guys.
That's awful.
Yeah, I had 2 herniated discs in my back, and I remember I think I'm 44 now, so I've been like 36, maybe 37, somewhere right around there. And I had to have an MRI. Went to a back surgeon, whatever, and he looked at everything. He goes, "You are too young, to have back surgery." He goes, "Man, this will kill you." He goes, "Do you have a good chiropractor?" And I go, "Yeah, I go to Suncoast Chiropractic." And he goes, "Dr. Benton's the best." He goes, "Just keep going to him. If he keeps everything in check, keep going to him.
But you have to be consistent."
Yeah, as long as possible." And that's been, and I still, Dr. Benton, when I get a little flare up or I feel it, we'll get a couple sessions in for a couple weeks.
He had a couple
good.
issues after his accident where he had to go quite a bit.
Yeah.
He was going like at least you were going twice a week.
2 to 3 times a week. Yeah.
I responded well to the chiropractor with my back.
And unfortunately, my
back was
disc
pretty
had
bad.
already fully protruded and was sitting on top of the.
Oh,
SCM nerve.
mine.
So when it's completely pushed out at that point,
yes,
that's
you
why
can't.
it's called a hot disc because it's sitting on top of the nerve, and that's why I had. I have a neuropathy in my foot because the damage was already set.
The X-ray looked horrible.
It was like you can see it.
It looked like it was trying to escape.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad.
It was like pushing down on a jelly sandwich, and it just.
Mine wasn't. Yeah, nowhere near.
Because I used to go to when I was back in Pennsylvania, I used to go to an osteopathic doctor.
What's that?
There's MDs and DOs, a doctor of osteopathic medicine. They basically go through med school and they have the same prescribing privileges as doctors. It's just that they do a classes in osteopathic manipulation, which is it's not chiropractic, behavior, but it is believing that you can manipulate the body in order to get responses.
Oh, okay.
So he would do my back, kind of crack my back, but he didn't use machines or anything. It was all body. And there's some doctors that would be like, I can feel the cranial plates.
Yeah.
And I could manipulate the cranial plates to get rid of your migraine. There is some folks that could do osteopathic manipulation because your body, they believe that your organs and everything is all in harmony. So they could do manipulation to like stop an asthma attack. You know? So a lot of doctors that are osteopathic doctors, a lot of them don't practice the osteopathic manipulation. Some are heavily into it and are more on the osteopathic manipulation side than the medical side, the writing, medicine side. But he used to do osteopathic manipulation on my back all the time, and it helped. So that's why I was not kind of standoffish with going to a chiropractor, because it was very similar to what they would do, but a little bit more with the different machines they would put me on and shit like that. But osteopathic manipulation is a definite, it is a very interesting form of medicine.
I think for anyone, it's the same thing with like acupuncture and all that stuff. Like your mind is a powerful thing, and you have to believe also like what treatment you're getting. You know, like especially with the acupuncture, a lot of times it's belief, you know, and that this is helping you.
My dad swears by it.
But on
a
that,
lot of people
but
do.
on that
a
note,
lot of people do.
He never believed in it though.
I didn't. When I first saw Dr. Benton, because my last chiropractor was every time he would go out of town, like on vacation, Dr. Price, he would say, all his patients would go over to Dr. Benton for if I need just an adjustment. And then I remember I limped in. I called up, and it was like on a Friday, and all chiropractors are closed on Fridays. I don't know why, but I called up and I go, hey, Dr. Price is out of town. I can't move. I cannot move. And he's like, oh, we're closed today, but come in. So I'm like barely getting into the office, and he's like, you are in bad shape. Going over like different things he could do. We could try acupuncture. I'm like, it doesn't work. Yeah, it was like, just do your adjustments. So get the adjustment, didn't help. And he's closed on Saturdays, and he says, hey, I'll come in tomorrow, Saturday. He goes, I'll come in. I'm in, or I was supposed to come in and do paperwork anyways. So I came in and couldn't move. And he goes, we're going to try some acupuncture. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I don't believe in any of that. And I really didn't. So he had to help me on the table, put the needles, never even put a needle in my back, like put them in my neck and my ear, my arms. And then hooked up like electrodes or something to him. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna come back in like half an hour. So he came back like half an hour, and he took everything out, and he goes, all right, hop up off the table. And without even thinking about it, I stood straight up. Yep. And I go, oh my God. Like I couldn't believe I could walk, and it was just, it blew me away. And I was a firm.
You should go do acupuncture on your knee.
I was actually thinking about, but I don't know, like workman's gonna, got someone else getting in there.
Yeah.
Touching.
You got to do it under the radar.
I had a client that I took to acupuncture for 3 years. She had a lot of medical issues, and she was on some heavy duty medication, and it just got to the point where they exhausted all of the Western medicine to help her. And so her mom thought, let's give it a shot. We did Reiki, we did acupuncture, we did like massages, we did all kinds of stuff. And I'm telling you that acupuncture, I mean, it was like a miracle. Like I could not believe, it didn't fix everything, obviously, but it helped so much with my client. And I was like, holy cow. And she was not mentally capable of even understanding what was really happening to her. So the fact that it was even doing anything was amazing, because a lot of times it does come down to belief too, like being accepting to being open to a different kind of treatment that's not Western medicine,
as open and receptive as Kevin is, or what? Because my dad's the same way. My dad, he's always had a bad back, worked in the coal mines, worked in the power lines. He's been all over.
Right.
And he was on a cruise with his wife. And he told me, he goes, I just got up. He goes, and I couldn't. My dad would he was always hunched over, walking hunched over. Mm-hmm. He's like, and I went to the doctor. They said we have an acupuncturist here. And he's like, my dad's like,
expected a witch doctor to come in shaking.
And he's like, I know we're in the Bahamas. He's like, no, No. And they're like, listen, we have really nothing for you, so give it a shot. And my dad said, went through the same thing like you, Kevin, popped off the table and could stand and walk.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't 100%, but he was like 90%. And he said 2 days later, he went back. They said, come back a couple days later because of the cruise. Did it again. He said, I walked off the cruise ship upright and fucking great. And he said he's only had to go back to the he started going to acupuncturist back home. He's only gone 2 other times. And this was like, I don't know, 15 years ago. This is a guy who was always thrown out his back at least a couple times a year. And in the last 10 or 15 years, he's had maybe 3 sessions at the acupuncturist.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely something to it. Like I know my sister too, like she was having a hard time conceiving, and everyone and my cousin, and everyone kept telling him try acupuncture, and for whatever reason, they were both able to conceive against all odds after they both did acupuncture.
There's something to it, man, because you hear one too many stories, and it's just not a story of bullshit or whatever. And knowing people that have had, like my dad or Kevin or your cousin, someone who had like legit issues, that there was nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. Because Kevin, like you said, there's nothing worse than throwing your back out on like a Friday. Oh, you're like, what the hell? I've had to go to the urgent care and have the doc just shoot me up with something, and I think it was Toradol or something, and just lay and ice my back because I don't like taking any type of muscle relaxer because it makes me sleepy, but then it makes me grumpy. I'm really miserable when I take it. I've taken them before and I didn't like it. So that was always what I did before, but I don't think I've had a knock on wood. Probably tomorrow I'll wake up freaking with back spasms. But since last time I went to the chiropractor, I haven't had any major back issues. And on that time when I went, I was a lot of pain. That was bad shape.
Yeah. I haven't had a flare up in a couple of years, but this was back in like I want to say like August or something, and it was like 3 or 4 days. I had a bad flare up to where like I couldn't get out of bed, or I would go to swing out of bed and then I would just be laying on half on the floor, half on the bed.
Oh yes, I have to crawl to the bathroom on my elbows.
Yeah, Jessica's like,
I can't even stand.
Jessica's like, what can I do? Like, don't touch me, don't touch me. Just give me 5 minutes, And it's
they bought me a cane.
I did. He's a horrible patient, by the way. So it's really no offense, but you are.
Familiar.
But I bought him a cane to help get around.
Well, I don't like some people the bad rap on men is that when we're sick, a little bit of sniffle, we blow it out of proportion. We're sick. Wait on me. I don't though.
You don't know yourself. You don't know yourself.
You're not a good patient. I'm sorry.
Well,
I love you, but
I'm not a good patient. How?
Wow, you are just Oscar the Grouch, and then times a million. Like
I've never, ever, and
then both of us having COVID at the same time.
I know you were like,
oh Lord,
I've never said I'm not grumpy. I am the first to admit I'm grumpy.
You won't take medicine. You're just really just.
Well, see, you don't answer my question though. You see, Kev, I'm not getting the answer to the question.
What is your question?
I was actually in mid statement that they say men need to be weighted on hand and foot, and that they blow everything out of proportion. I never once said I'm not grumpy. I'm saying, am I one of those guys who just lay around and expect you to do everything for me?
No, not.
Well, that was a long pause right there.
No,
fucking real long one.
Yeah, you don't. You're just not a good patient. Some people
that's not my question.
Not.
Well, I know.
Like I like to be left alone when I'm.
So do I.
No, you don't. You're just really. It's hard.
See what most people don't understand, and I know where Kerr's going with this.
She's lying.
Being a man in general is you're always, especially at our age, you're always in pain. So when something happens, we're in even more pain. Women don't understand that. That we're always in pain to begin with.
Because
So when we get a little pain,
we're causing them pain.
They say we're blowing it out of proportion. It's like, walk a mile under my painful shoes every day.
Listen,
being a man is hard.
Yeah, apparently that are frogs jumping, all that stuff.
I'm consistently on a pain scale of 5 every fucking
day. Every day of my life.
I would have to say Kerr is not though. He is a very mild manner, easygoing man.
Yeah, but you just make it seem like high maintenance.
But when you're sick, I don't like having patients like you in the hospital.
I'm not high maintenance though.
Oh yeah,
I'm grumpy.
You are just
Kevin.
Kevin
downright
grumpy and
Kevin,
but not high maintenance.
Kevin,
I'm not able to wipe my ass efficiently because of my goddamn knee, and that makes me high maintenance.
I've not wiped his ass.
Yeah.
Did you trim his toenails yet?
I fucking caved and did. Yes.
Yeah.
I would have sent him to get a pedicure. I could not do that.
I won't puke on pain, but that one there is just.
But here's the thing. I have literally beat my body up over the years. Like, I do so much crap at Goodwill that has abused my body. I had a kink in my neck. I couldn't move my neck for days.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking got up, went to motherfucking work every day where I couldn't move my neck. Shit, I worked so much I didn't even know I was that sick to the point where I ended up being hospitalized. So I don't want to hear your bullshit about we're in constant pain. I work through all of my pain. I have to. I have no choice. I have fucking kids.
Well,
I have things going on. I don't have time to fucking sit there and think about my poor aching fucking body all
It's
the time.
not comparative.
My back hurts
though.
now.
Kevin's comment wasn't comparative. It wasn't saying we're in pain, you're not. We are always in pain, you're happy-go-lucky. It's the criticism of the man. And it's describing and explaining what is going on with the man.
Sick person on the planet.
It's like,
and if he ever says he is not, I am going to film him next time he is sick for the world to see how this man behaves when he is sick.
It's like the regulations with the FDA with the cigars. When you start arguing the point that alcohol has ice cream and everything else, you're not staying on the path of the conversation.
Perfectly fine on the path of the conversation.
Kevin is explaining the plight of the man and what's going on with us because the criticism that was being thrown around. And same with you. You're doing the same thing Jess is doing, just in a nicer tone. But it's not answering the question. You're saying,
God.
You're saying I'm grumpy. You're saying I'm non-compliant, and I never once said I wasn't. I never once said I was not those things. I'll be the first to tell you.
Well, I didn't say those things about Kevin. I just said Kevin is a bad person.
I hate being sick, right? I hate it. I don't like it. I'm actually almost in denial when I'm sick or injured.
Not Kevin.
I don't like being catered to. I don't like freaking feeling helpless that it sucks. And you got to understand, probably in Kevin's situation, it sucks even more to feel that way. I don't like taking medicine. I will take it.
Taking out the trash. Do you miss unloading the dishwasher?
I bet he does.
The only thing you miss is being able to drive.
He misses helping you, Jessica.
No, he does not. I guarantee you, he does not.
But I am not high maintenance, and I do not sit there and ask Jennifer to wait on me hand and foot. I'm miserable as fucking. I'll even say, I'm sick. I'm miserable. Just stay away from me. And then there's one bad habit that I do have. Is depends on how sick I am, or how hurt I am, or how I'm feeling. If I'm in a bad mood and everyone leaves me alone and I'll start seeking people out just to be miserable. I do that. I admit to that. I will be like,
God, that's funny.
God damn it, where's everybody? What's up?
Yeah. Come here and let me yell at you.
Yeah, let me make you miserable because I feel so miserable.
Is there a cup in the sink? Why are cups always in the sink?
No, Kevin's not he's not like a mean sick person. He's just he's just mean.
I'm lovable.
And he's like, he's just like, oh, I'm sick, like everything just like revolves around me type of behavior, and it's annoying. Like when he was sick right before Christmas, I wanted to like just shoot myself because I mean, first off, he's the rudest sick person. He's coughing everywhere.
The
He's
flu.
like,
Yeah, you're not exactly
all throughout
a
the
freaking
house.
No,
like,
I'm not. I just like being left alone.
You do like being left alone,
that's it.
but
Bottom
when I do
line.
have to interact with you, you're miserable.
Yeah,
And
because
you-
I'm sick.
And you do freaking cough everywhere. You do.
I like to
You
just
do.
stay in
Kevin
bed in
does
the
not
bedroom.
How many
Yeah.
times? How many times been in bed and you go?
I try to
That's how
bury
I
my
feel.
mouth so it doesn't.
It's like,
Oh no,
Thank
not
you,
Kevin. Not Kevin. He
COVID
would
Sally. Just
literally cough in my face, and I'd be like, "Thank you, thank you very much." Like I almost died like about a month ago, but it's cool. Let's kill Jess.
But you're not high maintenance. I don't need to wait on you hand and
No,
foot.
not at
That's
all.
you're
I like
not
to do things on my own.
You're like-
I don't like.
a bear that just goes in a cave to die.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm so frustrated about, and like because like I was so sick. I mean, I even came home like with oxygen, and then Kevin's like, "You're fine. Like it's cool." Like 1, maybe 2 days, he was like, "Oh, do you need anything?" And then after that, I mean, he was going back to work. It was fine. But I was still sick. Like I'm still
I took a
recovering.
week off work.
No, first off, you quarantined with the kids.
Yeah.
You didn't take a whole week
I-
off
when you
because
came-
I literally it was like 3 or 4 days, and I was having to take them to the bus stop.
I'll pull up my pay stub.
Okay,
Like I said, so I took off 7 days when you got home.
I'm sure that was hard for you to take
Yeah.
off them 7 days when I was still fending for myself. I'm just saying there's a huge difference in care level. Kevin Shahan, if you remotely think that you actually cared the whole time I was off, you and I have a
Women have that. That's why you always hear a woman, you know, who hasn't given birth, and not you,
Did I
20,
say that?
25 years,
Did I say that?
telling these horror stories about
Did I
how,
say that?
oh, I got out of the hospital and I was vacuuming the next day. They don't remember shit like that. Yeah.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
I waited
never
on you hand and foot for
I
a week.
can attest to this.
I did not bring.
I
up
can
birth.
attest to this. Leading up to, during, and after your sickness, Kevin was very worried, and we communicated often.
Texting
I
people,
agree.
that's great. Yeah, informing other people, but yet the person who needed
Waited
like-
on her hand and foot for an entire week before I had to go
Did
back
you
to
think
work.
maybe you had some COVID brain and you're just not
Kerr
remembering
still
it?
has
Yeah.
COVID.
Possibly.
She,
I am still
Oh.
suffering. I
Stop! That
don't
right
even
there.
have words.
But that right there,
It's
though.
possible. That's
well,
a possibility.
I
That
think,
is a possibility.
I think then that's probably enough wiggle room.
But I also am not like entirely wrong in making my statement that Kevin had less caretaker tendencies than what he expects. Like that's what my point
Well,
is. My
stop
point is the wanting me to be a caretaker versus him being a caretaker.
Well, I mean, but with that being said, even with your oxygen and being in your
Well, this
being
is
in
even
the state,
afterwards.
you were still able to get up anytime you wanted, walk anywhere in the house that you wanted, and you didn't have, other than your breathing, any restrictive. I can't put
Okay.
my socks on.
Okay.
I can't put my socks on by
It's-
myself.
You got to
Well,
remember too.
yes, Kevin, you are
it is
absolutely correct. I mean, God
It is-
forbid
it
you
is a
cannot
different-
put
it
socks
is-
on, but I can't catch my motherfucking breath.
But
That's
it is
cool.
different though. It is. I
good.
mean, I can tell you, it's completely
Mm.
different from when Jen had her back surgery compared to when she had that cyst removed. I mean, it was a different type of care. She had more mobility when she was obviously had the issue with her cyst, but she still
Yeah.
moved slow and still couldn't do a lot because of a lot of pain. It was different when I had COVID because I was out.
You were sick.
I mean, I was
you
sick.
were really sick.
I was
Yeah.
out, and I just wanted to sleep. That's all I wanted to do.
It sucks.
Versus my back being out, and the worst feeling in the world is when I had COVID, I could get up, I could go to the bathroom. It sucked. Like you said, I labored breathing, freaking chills. I used to go to the bathroom with a freaking blanket wrapped around me because I had chills and I was too hot. But when my back hurt, when my back's thrown out, I can't even get off the couch and get to the bathroom without needing either help or crawling on my knees and my forearms to get there. And it's a different kind of freaking attention that's necessary. And the back, honestly, I've always, you go back. Do you want a, stomach ache? Do you want this? Do you want GI distress or being sick in general sucks. But there's just something about having that, not when you don't have that mobility, that just not only sucks physically, but it also sucks mentally. I think that's
being said though for any ailment, any injury.
I'm just speaking for myself when it comes to being I could be healthy as a freaking lamb. Mm-hmm. I don't know if lambs are healthy, but it sounded pretty good. Yeah. But still have my back thrown out, or have my freaking knee, like I've had my knee freaking in a brace, or having my shoulder surgery, and just not being able to move, and the inability to move freely.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
It does suck.
I remember
it's happened to me before where I've been injured and I couldn't move. But I'm just saying there comes a level of just care in general that is taxing on all people. It's not just the person who's going through it. It's the person who's also helping. There's
definitely.
And also then the person who's helping is still having their own issues mentally. It's a taxing experience.
No, we've gone through that with I know.
I'm
back,
that's what I'm saying.
Back.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I was after back surgery. I was sleeping on the small little blue love seat because that was the only way I could get comfortable by putting pillows underneath my legs. But I couldn't get off of there, so I would have to yell for him because the kids were little. To get me up just so I can get to a bathroom. Or
it was, and having her sit in the bathroom, it was a whole fucking process. And like you said, I mean, after a while, I was like, "Come on, man,
Where did the whole pregnancy thing come from? Who brought that up?"
I'm just saying, women just remember things differently. They remember pain differently.
But what? What are you basing that off of?
Pregnancy.
Who brought that up though?
I'm just saying I
not
did.
Not Jen, not I.
I'm saying I did. Women, because
but you're making a statement as if somebody said that.
No. Pregnancy is proof that women remember pain differently than men do.
How?
Because a woman 30 years later,
women can handle
will pretend like they remembered how. But the pregnancy.
Men
so
handle
it's okay for you to remember an old injury.
That's usually what.
But a woman can't remember when her vagina had to have 16 stitches. That's not okay, but you can
her
remember
vagina had 16 stitches.
Oh, no. I stopped listening to you when I heard vagina and 16 stitches.
I had
a C-section.
It's okay to talk about old injuries, but a woman can't talk about when she literally
rips her vagina.
A human being out of her vagina and rips to the point, and they have to sew you up. You're going to tell me that that's not a feeling that they can remember?
I was numbed up with a spinal with C-section, pulled Joe out, sewed me up, gave me PMAX.
Absolutely insane. And on top of it, you're not just pushing out a baby, you're also pushing out a placenta, which could be the size of a baby. I'm so glad I had a
C-section.
But that slips out pretty fast after the baby comes out.
Not always. A lot of women have to go to have surgery. Sometimes it doesn't all come out. They get an infection and die. I'm just saying,
Jess,
please don't undermine
that's a hot topic.
No, because
it pisses me off and brings this shit up so much.
I'll never forget when my daughter was born. When my daughter was born and my ex, my daughter has got her daddy's head. So let's say that there is a lot of damage.
A normal baby body,
a big old Kerr head, and came out and tore into the thigh muscle.
Oh my god!
Right.
Oh
god. And then
you're the big baby when you pull a hammy.
And then
I can only imagine.
And then I'm talking to her, and he's like, "Oh, the placenta broke away from the umbilical cord. I have to retrieve it." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Okay." And I'm talking to her, and I look down, and this was not a very big guy. He's kind of a short guy. And I look down, and it's
arm deep.
Yeah.
And I'm
got to get it all out.
I looked up. She's like, "What's going on?" I said, "You don't want to know, but I'm never going to make a dent ever again."
Like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
And it
was so fucked up. That was so fucked up.
And what happened was the placenta broke off into 3 pieces. So and then he had to dig around because, like you said, if anything's left up there, you can get infected. But yeah, I could. I mean, obviously she's numbed up for the whole thing, but the
Not
recovery
me.
time,
3 natural births.
the
All 3.
that's just crazy.
Yeah,
But
All
I'm
3.
all for
And that's why I want to
C-sections.
fucking throat punch Kevin and say,
But the
you
other thing
don't
that
have
happened-
a motherfucking clue about birth. So
The one
shut
thing
the
that
fuck
happened
up.
though was that on the way out, it caused nerve damage in her urethra, so she had to get cathed like 3 times a day for 2 days
No,
straight.
thank you.
For 2
Fuck
days
that.
straight, or 2 or 3 days. I mean, it was literally like could not go to the bathroom on her own. Tore into her thigh. It was Emma did a lot of damage coming out.
Babies do a lot of damage coming out, period. I don't care what anyone
I was
says.
given the option when I was about 6 months pregnant, 7 months pregnant on, do you want to do a C-section or not? Because I had gestational diabetes. So usually you're given an option because you don't know how big the child's going to be. And I said, give me a C-section.
Yeah.
I didn't want any
Listen, if
rippage.
I ever
I
had
didn't
a
want any
choice,
problems.
that probably
I
would have
want
been
to
my
be
choice.
Wyatt was a C-section, and
I was fine. It was
and
great.
unlike the freaking elbow deep, I did the old look over. I'm like, oh look, organs. Just
Yeah.
pull out the organs. Pull them
No,
out.
I gave
make some room
Just
for the
so
baby.
push that to the side.
Oh, they
Yeah,
pull them out,
I-
like set them up. on the
Yeah, they
freaking-
put them on like your
They
abdomen.
put 'em on
Oh,
your
do they?
abdomen.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
literally looks like
Yeah.
a
And then
freaking
put it back in.
it looks like a very well orchestrated and organized Jack the Ripper.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I gave birth to all 3 of my kids natural. No, nothing.
Yeah, see,
no,
I
nothing.
could.
I
yeah.
had 16 blood clots after I had Graham. I was in the hospital for like 4 days. Like it was,
Yeah, see, I could,
and they didn't have time to cut me, so I tore, and I had to have 12 stitches, Kevin.
Yeah, natural Kev. You might want to walk that statement back
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit.
So
you need to shut.
see, that's
your
why I couldn't.
Mouth.
That's why I couldn't be a doctor. I mean, when I'm working on a car and you can't, you get it all tore apart to get to the thing. You're putting it back together. Like, where did this go? And it's like, I'm just gonna lay it here. That's what I would be with like your whatever your kidney. Well,
and you want to
I'm just
talk
gonna set it
about
here. I don't
not being able to go to the bathroom either way, pee or the other way. Like it was the most excruciating thing.
I mean, you can say poop. You said vagina
Well,
12
whatever.
times.
Poop.
You know,
It hurts.
13 stitches in your
So,
vagina. You can
listen,
say poop. It's
vagina
cool.
is. I mean, it'd be different if I was saying like slang words for it. That would sound dirtier. Vagina is the actual correct term.
Feces. Then say
Feces.
feces.
Feces. I didn't say
Stool.
poop. He
I couldn't
did.
facilitate for 2 days.
So let's just put it this way: it is painful. So when you bring
Defecate.
up women and birth and
She's
stuff,
defecating.
I
Yeah.
just want to beat the shit
Oh
out of
my
you.
God.
You don't get to fucking say shit about that.
Put that in the Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
That couldn't facilitate for 5 days.
I would love for you guys to have to push out a human being.
Oh, I'd do it in a minute.
You can do that. How you
I would
get
choose a
the,
C-section
the
like
fake-
Jen.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, because I knew
Kevin
I would
would.
have pain meds afterwards, and I can have a nice recovery. I was like,
You're not
that,
like taking a big shit, let alone pop out a baby.
that was, you know me. I went that route immediately,
A big dry
and
poop.
and
man, that
my
thing hurts.
doctor just was like, okay,
Yeah, no, I wanted to have all natural births.
no, I saw absolutely
After
no
the
reason
first one,
why.
you weren't like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this
No.
is this.
Yeah, I
This
just
kind of
I had a
sucks.
real
From-
shitty pregnancy,
but
so
because
wanted
I
an
honestly
easier
never I just didn't want to put anything in my body at that point in my life.
I
mean,
wanted
I
as
made
much
some
drugs
really
as
poor
possible.
choices up into the point of having kids. I thought putting any more shit in my body wasn't a smart thing. I wouldn't want my kids to start off life without being addicted to some kind of shit.
I
Like I didn't want any
perfectly fine
more
with my
chemicals
choices.
in my body.
And who would have known this many years later, you got to use it as an arguing point to Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't get to talk
Yeah,
shit.
I
use
think-
no
think-
pain
I
meds. You're
think
not
it was.
saying-
I think it was. I want to say it was Rodney
Nothing.
Carrington. You know, the comedian. You know, he talked about how men and women like different types of pain and how bad it really is. And he'd said, childbirth really isn't that bad. He goes, you take a man, zips his pecker up in his zipper, and you feel the pain. Woman has a baby. A year later, you never hear a man go, you know what? I'd really like to zip my pecker up in my jeans again. But a woman will be like, you know what? I think I want to have another baby. And he goes, Can't be that bad.
Can't
We
be
can
that
we
bad.
can get those birthing things they have for men where they have to wear like
Yeah,
An
where
egg?
it zaps them.
the what?
Yeah.
Kevin has his egg. How many
His
years later?
egg,
So
yep.
I'm gonna.
And then
go
you
with Kevin
have
on this
the
one.
They
TENS unit
cause
that
the cramping
stimulates
and-
the
Yeah.
cramping, and then you can dial it up so that
Let me tell you,
your
when you start
contractions.
dilating and you start getting your contraction stuff, you feel
I didn't
like,
feel anything.
oh my god, I was throwing
they
up.
put a
I was
spinal
like,
in immediately.
it fucking is probably the worst type of throw up.
I don't
It's
doubt
just-
that. I
it's
don't
just
doubt the
like-
pain.
it's
Listen. The
fucking
whole
horrible.
So did you
The whole
like poop on
process-
yourself while giving birth?
No, I never did poop myself.
So yeah,
while I
that
was
that
giving
I didn't
birth.
want to do
I
either.
had
so
to.
that's why I went C-section.
I made
too.
sure that they did
Thank you.
whatchamacallit before.
like a
like,
bowel cleanse.
Yeah,
Enema?
they squirt you and
Enema.
you go in, an
Yeah.
enema before you do that, because I was always, one of my fears was that I would shit.
Well, I can imagine. But I mean, listen.
But my first birth, with Graham, I had back labor. I never even had regular labor. I didn't even know, because I didn't even know I was in labor at first.
Came
I
out
kept
your
thinking I was constipated,
That's why
and
I
was
think-
like, man, I was like, why does my back hurt so bad? And then it got really, really painful like the next day. And my mom's like, I think you're in labor. And I'm like, no, I don't feel any, contractions up front. Like I took in Lamaze, like they were telling you, this is how you're going to feel. Felt none of that. I had back labor the whole time. So I didn't know so by the time I got to the hospital, I was already like 8 centimeters dilated. And they were like, you're having this baby like soon. And I was like, how the fuck? I was never felt contractions up front with Graham. So my very first experience was back labor. And then with Gabby, she was born in the sack still. She was what they call a halo. So that was like a whole nother fucking experience in itself too.
Yeah, I never once would ever say that the whole process and the whole thing of a baby coming out of a human being out of that size hole, I would never say is
It's
an enjoyable process.
I mean, I'm lucky too, though, that my kids were fairly small. I mean, I know that there are women who have been in labor for, 2 days, and they're trying to push out these massive, and some of those women have massive baby. I do not know how my friend Shani pushed out her last son. Like, he was huge. He was like 10 pounds. I was like, how?
Yeah,
How did you push out a 10-pound baby?
my grandmother, after five kids,
Jesus.
she was 5 foot tall, 100 pounds, and
She had birth
and come to find out years later, she was diabetic, so she always had big babies. So I think the smallest one was 9, the biggest one was like 14.
Yeah.
You saw my
Yeah.
mom. My mom's like 5 foot, same thing, 100 pounds, and I was 9 pounds.
Yeah.
Phew,
I was a
my
big
kids-
baby.
Yeah, Gabby and Graham were both in the 6-pound range. Wyatt was almost 5 pounds. So
10 pounds. It's like giving birth to a
was small.
3-month-old.
Yeah. I want to say my
They were
dad. I want to say
tiny.
my dad was 13 pounds.
Frog.
His brother was.
Was it a frog?
No, it was a bug.
Oh.
That
Was it a
time
bug?
of
I was like,
year.
was it a frog?
Yeah. I think his brother. I think Mark at 14 pounds was the biggest. 13, 14, something like
No.
that.
No, I did have
14
small
pound
babies.
baby.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I mean that's why every man in my family ranges between 6 foot and 6'6", and they're all 380 pounds. Yeah,
Jesus.
my dad always said, 5th grade Pee Wee football, they wouldn't let him play. Him and his brother and his best friend, they were too big. Fifth grade, my dad was 6 foot tall and weighed 200 pounds in the 5th
Wow.
grade.
that's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
it.
no.
Big old corn-fed farm
I give
Ohio
the
boy.
women who give natural birth to those big ass babies. I don't even know how they
14
do
pounds.
that. Fuck that. I had small babies, so I will admit that they were. I mean, and that still fucking was a lot.
14-pound baby would have been like, okay, now you can put in the drugs.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, I mean, they usually know. You usually know when at your ultrasounds about around the size.
Were they
of
doing
your baby.
ultrasounds in the 50s?
No, they just
Yeah.
were like,
No, I'm
hey,
talking
you
about
got a
for-
big ass baby back.
now.
You
I'm
got a big
saying
ass
now.
belly.
So if a woman was to have
Yeah.
a baby now that's 14
yeah.
pounds, and
Yeah.
then she might need to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if they told me, hey, your baby's going to be like 10, 12 pounds, I'd been like, well, let's talk about cutting me
Yeah.
open and pulling that
Yeah.
sucker out.
But yeah, back then everybody was surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to have a shot every time I gave birth because I'm Rh negative. So
Your alien blood.
Yeah, your
so
alien
I have
blood.
the alien blood. So, that's how probably most women died during childbirth, was probably big babies and being Rh
I
negative.
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking 14 pounds.
Plus, you're giving birth on a hut.
Well, that whatever. I mean, I think
dirt floor.
most of the time it was because they were also so young. Those girls, like some of them were like 13 years old, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't young. That was they were middle aged.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, they died at 35.
Their bodies were, prepared to have.
Yeah, getting married at 13, having babies at 14, and freaking dying at the ripe old age of 38.
Yeah. Seriously, though.
I could
Crazy.
imagine that.
So just think about when you keep bringing up the whole women and pregnancy thing. It's like when you have an old injury, that's an old injury. They still remember it. And so you talk about why women keep having babies. Well, then don't have sex with us. Like that's going to happen. And especially like in certain like religions, they don't believe in birth control.
Well, there's
So,
other
like if
holes.
you want to have
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. It's
I'm just saying.
What pleasure.
Yeah. They don't. When you go to Disney World, they don't close down the whole park just because Space Mountain's out of order.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying, like,
There's still the chocolate factory.
The only way to
Hershey
have
Park.
a family is to have a baby come out. So you then, are like, well,
Well, back then
that's our job.
they needed farm hands. That's what my dad, says, cheap labor.
Yeah.
You had as many kids, worked the farm, and then hopefully you married someone else, had a big family, and you had more farm hands.
Lots of help around the house.
That's like my mom's side of the family.
So speaking of farms, what are you guys thinking about because the daylight savings time? It was always help the farmers,
Don't care.
and the farmers
Yeah.
didn't give two
Really
shits.
Doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Just
No,
tell me what time it is.
But what so now there's the debate now. Do we keep daylight savings time or do we go back? So do we keep it the way it is now or do we change time and then
One
freeze
more
it then?
time. Oh,
I have no clue, and I really don't care. Just
I
tell
don't
me
care
what
either.
what they're
I
doing.
say keep the extra hour.
I just like that South Carolina brought back the firing squad.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
I was surprised to see it's only 3 people and all 3 shooters get a bullet.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, it was
I
like,
thought that was
like 6 or 10, and then
It-
only
it-
one
it-
person had the real bullet.
Yeah, it was only 6, 8, or 10. They were always expert marksmen. They all aimed for the heart.
And one
Everybody's
person had a
Wait,
bullet.
what? What's happening?
Oh, in South Carolina, you can choose.
It was
to be
in our
executed
bullies
by
chat.
Firing
She
squad.
just said she
now.
didn't get it.
I know she
Just
hasn't
was
been
busy
reading
working.
it. That's why I
That's
said
what
it
happens
was
when
in
you're
our
busy
bullies
working.
chat.
Yeah.
I've
South
missed days of
Carolina,
chatting.
you can either be electrocuted or choose to be executed by firing squad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why would anyone choose that?
But like Kevin was saying, now everybody gets a bullet. Where back in the day, they gave 6, 8, or 10 people. One person had the real bullet, so you didn't know if you were the real killer or executioner.
Yeah.
You would think they would keep that as a.
That's what I said. I was surprised to see
I
they
am
lowered it to
surprised.
3, and then everybody has a bullet.
That's
So.
weird.
But I guess
That
it's I guess it's the same.
You still wouldn't know whose bullet was.
Yeah, it's
you all got
aiming,
bullets.
Yeah.
You're all aiming for the same spot.
Right. So
Yeah.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah, but
Who would-
everybody
who
has
would
a
know?
The
bullet.
shooter
No one,
wouldn't know whose bullet actually hit.
Yeah,
Everybody
all
has a
3 are
bullet.
Everybody has a
shooters.
real bullet.
That would be
I
like
know, but I'm saying, like, how would they know which one?
because the
actually
bullet would
went
enter
in?
their body.
Yeah, because you'd shoot the guy. Your bullet would enter his body.
they
and
shoot
kill
at the
Yeah.
him.
same time. All
I
3 are hitting the body.
I understand that. My point is, though, is that whatever bullet actually, but they won't know which bullet is which one. They don't
Well,
know whose
doesn't
bullet.
matter.
hit
They're
them.
all probably
all
hitting
3
the same
enter
spot.
the same spot
Yeah,
How do all 3 enter the same?
because
spot?
they're expert marksmen. Yeah,
they're all aiming for the heart.
they're all aiming for the same
Yeah.
spot.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool story.
They're not going to be able to. They're not going to pull out the bullet and say, "Hey, Carrie,
I get
your
that.
bullet
It's
went
fine.
into the
Whatever.
left ventricle."
I'm over it. I don't even care. I don't.
But yeah.
Obviously, I didn't
But
care.
I
to
guess-
read
but I
it.
guess
The
it-
bullies don't care.
I guess nowadays it's really no difference than the guy that pulls. I don't. Is there a thing? Is he still pull a big switch? It sparks.
Hits
Probably
a button
not.
or something.
I don't know. Maybe is it a button or the doctor that injects it? He knows
Yeah.
he's the one killing. The same guy pulling the switch or hitting the button. He knows he's the one. You know?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I guess if they had like 3 buttons and only one was active, nobody knew which button was.
Doesn't
Who
matter.
cares? I mean, obviously, those people wanting to do that job, regardless, have a thing with being morbid.
I don't
general.
think they have. They're just doing a job.
Not talking about the marksman. I'm talking about anyone in the past that did those types of jobs.
Yeah.
There's some morbid curiosity.
Executioners always made the most money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely sure that if they give you a big old axe and you got to cut someone's head off, I think you're someone who probably enjoys what you're doing.
I would assume that's what I'm saying.
And they made more money.
I don't think it had anything to do with money.
Most executioners made more money in tips than they did by getting paid to be the executioner. Yeah, because if you tip them well, so you would come up.
What year are we talking about, Kevin?
Well, whenever the fuck they had an axe, not in the 50s.
So you're talking during like the 1800s,
or probably the Middle Ages.
They even knew what tipping was back then.
So what you would do
Please
is
tip your executioner. They had signs all over the place.
You would present your executioner with a sum of money to make sure it was swift and clean. Because if not, versus he might hit your shoulder blade first, or he might not go all the way through on purpose, knowing, hey, the people that paid got a swift, clean execution versus the people that didn't pay, they were in a little bit more agony and it maybe took a second swing. So all those
prisoners, who was paying for them?
Well, they might not got a swift, clean execution. But if your family could have
crazy.
Yeah, but if your family could afford to pay, you presented your executioner with a tip ahead of time, for a nice, swift execution.
I need to Google how much do you tip an execution.
It was even better when they got a talker.
Yeah.
God.
You know what the talkers were? Is when they would the people before they were getting executed, they were that amped up that when they cut your head off,
it would still
you're still alive for at least a couple of seconds, and they would hold your head up and face the crowd. And that person who's still alive for a few seconds, eyes are opening, looking around, and their mouth is moving because they're trying to speak.
See, this is saying that that's false. It's a legend. It's not actually true that a servant will give you more gold.
Oh, Kevin's going to prove you wrong, Jen. He's going to prove you
right here. Tipping the executioner, bad manners and brimstone.
I know. I have watched
go.
so many history things on that.
Huh?
Right here.
They use dull.
See,
Joe even said it too.
Here.
It makes it dull blades to make it even worse.
Criminals tip the executioner is not true.
That's what I'm talking about. Joe just confirmed it too. He said they use dull blades, but if they got tipped, they would sharpen the blade to make it swift. And you never cite the very first thing that comes up on Google, Jennifer.
Right now, you can make $46,000 in California to be an executioner. South Carolina is $45,000. Sammy should.
So see the first thing that comes up with me, depending on the nation and the era, condemned criminals did in fact pay executioners, typically in an attempt to prevent a botched execution.
Here's the article right here.
Joe, not being able to hear you guys, just hearing us, said the same thing. He goes, "Yeah, they use dull blades, and they used to take tips to sharpen the blades."
Hangmen were not paid.
Well, he really.
Well, yeah. There's. Well, I get they could put the noose to where you would, instead of breaking your neck.
And likewise, the firing squad was not paid either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think like all of that is just, you have to have some kind of morbid, like just sickness about you to have been able to do those types of jobs back then. Like, but it was normal. Look at the people that used to come out and watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, like the Green Mile.
Yeah,
they used to. There was no glass behind it. They literally sat there right in front and just
make sure the sponge is
wet.
Make sure the sponge is wet.
So crazy.
Got to conduct the electricity. The guy starts on fire. Oh yeah, I'll tell you.
I just feel like, I mean, why didn't they just shoot people? Like, wouldn't that just have been like at that point? Like, why do the electric chair? Like, just shoot them. Just shoot them.
They were looking for a more humane way.
How
to
was
kill
that
people.
humane?
Because they thought it was instant.
Yeah. They thought it was instant. They and not only that too. Back in the day, it was why waste your money on a bullet when you could kill someone with an axe, cut their head off, or hang them? Where really,
you can thank Thomas Edison for the electric chair. It was his
shocking the
elephant.
Yep.
Yeah, dogs, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
My-
We need to see how many
My good
volts
old
it was.
town that I grew up in, where he's from, Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Lived
But
in
there was,
Edison.
I mean, even like during wartime, it was like, do I waste my bullet and execute this prisoner, or do I just freaking
I don't
Yeah.
know.
slice their neck or freaking stab them or whatever? I mean, it's so much easier to do it that way. You
Starving
don't waste
to death.
the ammunition that you need.
Ugh.
Crazy
So
stuff, man.
bizarre. It is. It's just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's yeah.
What?
It
is. It's mind blowing. Like I always think that it would be cool to just like visit certain times just to see what it's like authentically. But then I'm like, no, I would never want to go back to
that's what I'm going to make a
to
note.
that time.
I'm going to make a note because Kerr, I got to send you the video, and I watched one video, and then I delved deep into it, and I got sucked down a fucking rabbit hole. The medieval, like the Dark Ages, never existed. Like there's like 300 years in humanity that was wiped from the slate because of this king wanted to say that he ruled in the new millennium, not the millennium that we're in now, like,
Right, back
2
then.
millennia ago. But yeah, and there's like a lot of good evidence that like 300 years of history, the Dark Ages never existed.
I don't know.
Like it was like a year.
They have like
Yeah, it's freaky video. I'll send it to you.
They found documentation.
I'm convinced. I am
about
convinced
the Dark Ages,
that the
though.
Dark Ages
No.
never existed.
No, they definitely did. I don't
Really?
listen to that
Yeah,
interesting.
it was crazy. And then I think I heard it was a great interview with Elon. I think it was Elon Musk talking about when we'll land on Mars, and I think it got went to the like the years of like the Knights Templar. After that, it was really the Catholic just squashed all science and innovation and everything. And he had said, if it wasn't for like that 700 years or whatever it was of the Catholic Church just suppressing everything, I forget what he said. He goes, we would have landed on the moon in like the mid 1700s, late 1800s, most likely. Because there was so much innovation that was squelched. Like nothing happened. There was no progress.
Just find another reason to blame the Catholics for something. Shut up, Elon.
I don't know. I mean, you look at all
He
the-
obviously thought the aliens back then were.
But if you
giving
look at all of
technology.
Da Vinci's like, inventions and drawings and stuff, he was definitely,
Oh yeah.
like ahead of his time, but there wasn't like they had to do it in secret a lot of times, and a lot of those artists look inventors had to hide.
We have the
doing.
Edison, the theory of relativity. I mean, he was he was at the train station watching a clock, and and he come up with everything that we know. And this is just in the whatever it was, 40s, 50s, 30s, whatever he was at that.
Kevin.
Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
Kevin's
Wow.
Kevin's just every year.
I'm not great with time.
1900.
Yeah.
You're like Thomas Edison in the 1800s. You mean Albert Einstein in the 20s? Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Da Vinci, just these people that create these, and then it just changes all of humanity. How are those people not aliens? Or how are they not?
But he can I mean, it is a speculation at this point, though. There's no concrete evidence to say that could even have been an actual possibility.
What's that?
It's Elon Musk saying that we could have.
Oh yeah, we don't know. Yeah,
there's no way he would actually be able to say.
It's like anything else. It's an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration to make a point.
Right.
Yeah.
That we probably would be more
but there are
progressed than we
people out
are.
there that believe that shit.
Because you look at, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, we all had horse and buggies, and now we have landed on the moon within 150 years.
Well, it's no
so
different
think if the church
Cleopatra.
hadn't squelched technology and innovation for 700 years, what could have happened in that time?
I don't know.
When you look at just the 150
But
years,
it's also
I don't
like,
think
when
the
it comes to
combustible engine would have been created during that.
You're right. What would that have been? Because a lot of what we have is because of Einstein.
It's because of Roswell.
It was Roswell.
Well, I mean, we're not that far away from Cleopatra's time either. So people think, the Egyptians, but it's really Cleopatra is not that far away from from
Yeah,
things.
so if it
you
hadn't been
think
for the
about
fall of the Egyptians, would we have been landing on the moon in the 1500s?
Yeah, because they were very advanced, the Egyptians.
Yeah.
When you do all the research on just amazing the technology, how well ahead of their time they were. But it always blows my mind, like when they talk about the different. We talked about Albert Einstein. A guy like that comes along and just. What was it? Was it his? He's had a few different law relativity, blah 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 blah. But I can't remember which one it was that they said was just proven a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was his one of his because it was
what the fuck was that?
Wheelchair guy that died.
Stephen Hawking.
Hawking, he was always proven like the black hole there in like he said no, Einstein was wrong. He's got all of this, and then it was proven like no, Einstein was actually right. That one of those was just proven.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It had something to do with black holes.
Didn't Stephen Hawking's always like think that time travel was possible?
Well, they all know it's possible,
Right, but I'm saying like
that's the whole string theory thing.
Yeah.
Didn't he like do like where it was like for his birthday or?
Oh yeah, he threw a party for time travelers.
For time
and that was
travelers.
and that's why he said he goes, yeah, I don't think it's possible because he threw a big party for for everybody, for just nobody was invited, and then the next day, he put a notice in the paper that hey, I'm having a big party
right
for the previous day. So he goes, any time travelers 100 or 1,000 years in the future, they would have shown up at my party,
right?
Because like I said, they would have read about that there was a party, and someone else said, Stephen Hawking is just known for throwing shitty parties. That's why nobody came.
Right.
So
yeah.
No, it is true. I mean, it's string theory, and what they said the best thing about being a physicist is if you can't prove something, you just create more universes.
Yeah.
and create more realities.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, because we watch The Big Bang Theory, and it's always interesting when you hear it talking, and when you start, like when you watch it, it's interesting and funny. And then when you look it up and you start reading it, I'm like, wow, I'm like a paragraph into this, and I have no effing idea.
Yeah.
This is, if you're that intelligent that you can understand that, that's no wonder a lot of these guys are a little off.
But that's
the
just
rocker,
it, though.
holy
like,
shit.
If we don't understand it, but someone else says they do, does that still make it correct? Like that's the stuff like that makes you wonder sometimes because then they come out and they'll correct themselves and say, oh, well, we thought it was like this, but it's really like this. And so you have conflicting information sometimes.
Well, you can have some people that'll have a theory or,
well, I mean, like I was just telling Kevin, I just watched this documentary thing on Bill Nye, the science guy, and how like off the deep end he's gone like towards like the global warming and stuff.
Yeah.
Like not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying like he's very like he's almost kind of an asshole about it.
Yeah.
He is now. It's like it's either like believe what I say or like you're wrong. Like you're the problem. You're the problem because you don't believe this.
Okay.
And it's like
so watching this documentary was really kind of interesting though, because I was like, wow, I love Bill Nye the Science Guy. I mean, he's the reason why a lot of people have gotten interested in science to begin with. But then he's taken this whole nother level of like his belief system, like where's the actual science for some of this?
But he's not a real scientist, is he?
Isn't he like
a sociology major or something?
I think he's a science teacher. So
well, I mean, it goes into like his background.
I never thought he was. I didn't think he was a real sence.
So when the guy was building the ark, like there was this huge controversy. And the guy that created the Noah's Ark thing, whatever his name is.
Oh, the attraction into the sea. Yeah.
Well, he was like from Sweden or something. It's some Sweden guy that did all of this, and he's not from America who did it. He's from like Sweden or something. Well, anyway, he called out Bill Nye. It was in the documentary thing. And so finally Bill Nye goes, okay, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to meet you and we'll have this debate and we'll talk to these Christians and all this stuff that are there. And like he was like bombarding these little kids, like asking them their opinion on certain things, like, well, do you think this is God or you think this is science? And like all this stuff saying, how can dinosaurs have been on this ark? And I mean, all this shit, right? I mean, they were going back and forth. And it was just kind of like, it was just hard to watch him in that sense of like who he was, as far as like getting so far away from science.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talked about his like home life, his family life, why he never had kids and stuff. And it was just interesting, like, to see that side of Bill Nye. But yeah, some of it had nothing to do with science. It's just his beliefs.
Yeah,
you know?
Him being a dick.
Yeah, like really, and I was shocked.
Yeah,
I really.
You know, you talk about dinosaur. You know, like I said, just the other day I watched a video, and I never really put it into perspective. You know, and they had seen, you know, like, and they start off showing a picture of a Triceratops, you know, battling a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then it goes, you know, those two animals are separated by like 100 million years. Like they were never in the same time span as each other. And then they talk about like the T-Rex had ruled, you know, it was like the top predator for like 100 million years. They said in that time, you know, there have been over like 1 billion T-Rexes, you know, that have roamed the earth, and we've only found one complete skeleton.
Oh, really?
You know, over 1 billion of these T-Rexes over 100 million years, we've only found one. And I'm like, well, that's weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
You know, it's like,
that doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't. That's what they said. You know, we have found like literally only dozens of partial skeletons, but Sue is the only one.
Yeah,
we have
that was a
found.
complete.
Well, they find a lot of dinosaurs like that. They'll find partial bones, and then they'll recreate based off that partial bone. And be like, hey, we found a new dinosaur. This is the Snuffleupagus.
Yeah,
I was like,
Kevin,
well, you found a goddamn femur.
Kevin and I watched, you know, Beneath the Ice or whatever it's called.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Buried Under the Ice or something like that. And like, it's really interesting. Like, even just some of the people they have found under the ice that are preserved. Like that one child that they found, like it was completely like it still even had its clothes and everything. I mean, it was so.
The Iceman. Remember they found the Iceman?
Yeah, they found the Iceman.
But we're talking about this was a child.
Yeah,
so crazy.
And then, like I said, the woolly mammoths. You see, they pull out of Siberia. You know, that have the fur and everything.
What was it? The tooth,
the saber-tooth tiger,
and all.
Yeah,
that
and then
stuff.
they want to take their DNA and they want to freaking.
Well,
I get a whole nother world.
That's gonna. But a lot of people don't know. In our little hometown here of Northport, you know, we have
woolly mammoth.
It's a place called War Mineral Springs. So. 1 million years ago, it used to be a tar pit. You know, now it's a natural spring, and they still don't know. I mean, it's like the third largest, as in like natural spring in the world, because it flows like 3.5 million gallons a day. So it's constantly replenishing itself, and they still don't know where the water comes from. They don't know. You know, they've never been to the bottom, but the divers from the University of Florida that have come, they have found intact. Woolly mammoth skulls. Some of the best preserved saber-toothed tigers they've ever found have come from our little town, and it's just, it's
which
weird.
Is so weird in the Gulf Coast of Florida.
And they have no idea where the water comes from. You know, just like I said, millions of gallons a day flow through it.
That's crazy though, to have that many millions of gallons flowing.
And they don't know how far the like they don't know.
They don't know how deep it goes. They don't know anything. But so that's why we get visitors, especially Russian and Ukrainian.
They come for the
Bosnia, Czechoslovakia. That's like because it's the healing springs. Some people think this is the fountain of youth that Marco Polo was looking for.
Not Marco Polo.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ponce de Leon.
Yes, Ponce de Leon, who landed in St. Augustine.
I was going to say that
Marco Polo was playing the game in the water.
That's where I got confused, Jen, because it was the water.
It was the water, so I understand.
But yeah, so everybody comes here, and it's the magical healing properties of this mineral water that's super high in.
Maybe you should jump in that, Kevin, to help your knee.
You know what? I've thought about it a couple.
Listen, you know how many people that are locals that have said they've gone there, and it's disgusting.
But the problem is, you know, as much as the water does circulate every day, people not only they bathe in it, they drink it. And it's an extremely quick laxative.
Yeah.
So and they don't get out. So
no, we'll never go. We will never, ever, ever go care.
But yeah, high sulfur water, high,
It's-
phosphor,
it's
all these
disgusting.
magnesium,
These people
these
are
minerals.
fucking crazy.
The smell must be horrible with the
The people
sulfur
are
in it.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's tucked away, so like you could drive by it and not smell it.
No, but
once you
inside
go,
there,
yeah,
ugh.
they say it's
When I
pretty-
went on the
imagine.
tour to the Fountain of Youth in St. Augustine,
I hate
thought it
sulfur
was-
well water.
I thought I was going to throw up and die from the smell. It smells so fucking terrible.
Ugh.
And then you go into the gift shop and they're like, you could buy this little Fountain of Youth like bottle, and I was like,
some shit water.
fucking
Here you go.
shit.
Yeah, I
Shit.
know.
shit
Well,
toilet
there's
potpourri.
there's gaps in the in the whole evolution, the theory of evolution.
Yeah,
So that's why when people, you have, intelligent design, creationism, religious beliefs, and then you have people like, oh no, look at evolution. It's like, it's not fluid.
Yeah.
it's not fluid, but my whole point is for the theory of evolution. I've got friends like my buddy Tom. Like, so we've had debates on this. He does not believe in evolution. He is Catholic, which is nothing, but that's just his religion. Doesn't believe in evolution at all. Period. And I'm like, you have to believe in everything evolves. Plants evolve. I mean,
Yeah,
within our lifetimes, things evolve. It's just, you don't have to believe that we came from apes or a slug. That's what I'm not saying. So you got to believe in at least some kind of evolution.
There is, and that's where intelligent
survival
design,
of the fittest is evolution. To a
yes,
point.
but I also
Yeah.
think that when it comes to
Adam and all that stuff.
Yeah.
well, the Adam and Eve, I mean,
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like from atoms and molecules and all that stuff.
Oh,
No,
Adam and Eve.
Adam.
No, Adam.
ATOM.
no, it's ADAM and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
I'm fucking with you, Jeff.
from particles and stuff, like people believe in that. Like
Yeah.
when the Earth was created, like we then, forms, beings were starting to create, and then we evolved.
Well,
What we evolved from, I don't know.
the saying is that your atoms, since your hands are everything's made up of the same atoms, that if at the right moment, if you swing your hand at the table, that it is possible for your hand to pass through the table because of the structure of both your hand and the table.
Yeah. Now, and
If it's aligned properly, it's that. That's belief.
Yeah. It's like 1 in a trillion whatever chance that it will happen.
Yeah, but what I was saying about evolution is you have the religious folks who truly believe like Adam, Eve, blah 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 blah, the whole 9 yards, and everything, and then there is also intelligent design, which I think is kind of that happy medium where you have people who do believe in God, who do believe, the Bible, Jesus, all that stuff, but they also believe that there was evolution, but the gaps in evolution is and the way that things have evolved is showing that there is some sort of hand guiding the evolution of man versus it just coming that one day a freaking animal just hopped up on the shores and was like, oh, I can breathe air. And then I'm going to develop into a walking, breathing human being.
Yeah.
People also believe that we actually come from the ocean.
Yeah.
Primordial soup. I mean, it was,
It
was, we would actually have to come from the smallest organism.
And I believe that is where we're from. There was a single celled organism. Something happened. It split, and here we are 4.5 billion years later. So that is I do believe that. But the Big Bang Theory, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that. I said so. I mean, if you take an infinitesimally small, singularity and everything in the known universe is here today because of that.
It was the energy. I actually watched something on TV about how the whole Big Bang Theory occurred in that energy and how it's always and universe is always expanding.
Yeah. So and luckily over the past month, really maybe 3 months, the Big Bang Theory is really getting kind of disproved a little bit. People are really taking a second look at was it really a singularity? Because you take it. So you take every human that lives on the planet Earth. There's 7.5, 8 billion of us right now. If you take away all the space in our bodies and you break us down to just atoms, every human on this Earth could fit in a Slurpee cup, of all of our atoms.
Right.
But that's all the humans. you take, there's a trillion stars. Those stars have planets. So so a Slurpee cup is bigger than a singularity. So then you take everything, and it's not a singularity. You take just the atoms of everything in the known galaxy that's ever existed, and you crush them down. You would have something fucking large to start with,
right.
So I'm not.
Something can't come from nothing.
Yeah, I'm not a Big Bang Theory guy. I'm not. No. I'm not buying it. You know. So where it come from, I don't know. It's a tough one. And when you start watching these different shows and you start to think about it, it could. I have to pull away from it because it really, you could go down, like I said, there's a rabbit hole that is freaking deep and winding, and it's like when you try and listen to someone explain. There's some great clips from Joe Rogan's podcast where you have some of these theorists on there and they talk about it, and to be able to say, okay,
isn't that who Joe didn't Joe Rogan just have Elon Musk?
No, it was a year ago, but yeah.
But it's like, they said it's trying to explain, time and the concept of time and what it was like before time. And then you sit there and you listen to these guys talk about when things started and how it started and with the concept of time and when that began. And I'm like, yeah, you're killing me right now because I feel really stupid or you're really insane. And what you're saying is just complete bullshit.
Well, what about the conspiracy theory that we're the experiment, that Area 51 is really the exit because we are the aliens?
Yeah.
And
we're in a snow globe.
We're just in a snow globe.
That's Elon Musk telling everybody that this is virtual reality practically, or we're just a video game. It's very much the same concept of the Matrix, right?
Right.
But
same concept.
But I believe, just with my religious background of living through the varsity Catholic years, and learning that, I mean, is it? Yeah, I mean, 4.5 billion years is a long time to develop from a single-celled organism. So, is it possible? I'm sure we've seen. Yes, it is, but I have a hard time believing that there wasn't some sort of intervention. And I know there's a lot of people think it's alien intervention. A lot of people think that we're just an experiment from another, alien colony. And, Prometheus that movie kind of touches on that, where
I feel like we're like from Horton, Here's a Who. We live on a little plant. There's a whole nother little.
Or like the Men in Black, the Earth is just a marble they're playing fucking marbles with.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you think about just the human body and everything that goes on in the human body, and you're like, we all came from a single cell, it's mind-boggling and blowing. But when you do see that there's gaps in evolution, it definitely makes you, if you can't stop, I guess what I always ask folks is, if you're expecting me to believe that we came from a single cell, then I'm asking you to try and believe that, there was a little bit of freaking intervention along the way, because to come as far as we did and to be who we are and the thinking and the brain, just looking at the different organs, look at the human eye, everything in the human eye.
Yeah.
The way that was to develop, it's
not even the eye. Look at the daisy. I mean, how complex of an organism your common daisy is mind-blowing, how it's evolved into what it has.
Right.
But I believe there has been intervention. I really do believe in the aliens. Ancient astronaut theory, aliens, has intervened several times, in our existence. There have been, these disasters where they speculate that there was at certain a couple different points that humanity was down to less than 1,000 people on the entirety of the earth.
But doesn't it also say in the Bible that God had wrath and wiped out people?
Well, yeah, like cities and stuff.
Right,
but their belief back. But there's that theory of also with ancient astronauts, because I've watched a lot of those shows too, Kev, is that the Bible is, a lot of things in the Bible are documenting what they consider to be God and Jesus, but were really aliens.
Oh yeah, the whole book of Enoch is just, they say that's not, in the Bible, because it goes into too much detail of Enoch being an alien taken, but whether that's true, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Oh, those are the scrolls that they found.
Yeah,
or something.
Dead Sea Scrolls.
Water.
So the Indian Revolution with the Mahabharata, goes into these flying chariots that have these battles in the sky and shooting these fireballs at each other. And
Ezekiel rode off in a fiery chariot. I mean, and there's lots of references to that in the Bible of fiery chariots, celestial being coming from the sky, fire, lightning.
So it also is interesting how history gets written down and how things were interpreted, and then how things were passed down, right? Because some of it was written and some was verbal.
A lot of it word of mouth.
Right, is verbal history. And so obviously everyone knows what the whole telephone is.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say,
tell this person, I tell this person.
We fuck it up, and we have all the technology at our fingertips. We fuck up stories.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Kerr couldn't send me a text earlier, and
no, but that's what I'm saying is though.
Who's her?
Yeah.
I feel like it's important for people to, obviously, expand their knowledge, be open-minded though, to hear other point of views, and and it's okay to still have your core beliefs in your faith. Like, I would never tell anyone and still be able to disagree, but still have a great conversation about stuff, because at the end of the day, it's amazing. Human beings, like the earth, everything around us, that's an amazing thing, regardless of how it came to be. And I think that's what people do take for granted too. It's like, I don't even think they realize like how much damage they still do to the planet every day, because they don't care. Because they don't care.
But
they don't care.
Not they don't care. I think there's a lot of people don't care, because they, a lot of people are like, oh, fuck it, it's not my problem, or whatever the case may be. I'm just always blown away that we have this thing.
Yeah.
And, I know, Kevin, you've mentioned it before, that there's generations that will never know what a rotary phone is. They'll never know what, and I'm 52, and I remember growing up as a kid, just in the last how many years, we went from rotary phones to being able to to having computers where, you'd have to write a program to send an email, or you would, the early games were just so basic to this, where you could play video games and emails.
We were just talking about his granddaughter not knowing even what daylight saving time, like what she won't
like there's a pretty good chance that like when she like when she gets older, we'll have to tell her that twice a year, we change times back, and then we talk about you
can't do that to the kids though. Every kid needs to experience last call to bar, and then them say, oops, it's daylight savings time, and then fall back and you get an extra hour of drinking. Everyone should experience that moment.
And then even
never have it.
And then she probably won't see it in her lifetime, but McKenna, she's 5. But I said like
not yet. She's not 5
yet.
Her
kids won't know what a helium balloon is. Like helium is like it's going to be gone. We don't have. And we
were just talking about that. That's
we have a finite supply. So my granddaughter's children are most likely not going to know unless we can start producing it from space, because it is the second most natural element in the universe.
I mean, but we were talking about how it runs an MRI machine, all this stuff. Like, what are we going to do when we don't have helium anymore?
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about how fast things have developed, and
I have to tell them your funny story about your helium balloon. Because Kevin is the most straight edge person I've ever met in my life, and he actually told me a story yesterday that blew my mind.
I thought you were talking about Luke. I sucked in a helium balloon and passed out
when he was in high school or something, and passed out, and all these people were standing around him, and I go, "Oh, you did a whippet?" And
Oh,
he's like, "No, a helium balloon." I said, "Oh, you didn't do it from the cartridge?"
Well, yeah, that was nitrogen too, not helium. So,
yeah, but it'd still be called.
I remember
a whippet.
talking in a
It's the
funny
same
voice
thing.
and then waking up. People are like, "Are you okay?"
And
Helium? I mean, I've had that happen at a freaking concert where they're making the nitrous balloons that go in here.
Yeah.
yeah,
And then you
No,
suck it in, you're like, hey, man,
yeah.
how you doing?
Kevin did that with just a helium balloon
That's
and passed
great.
out. And I thought,
I thought,
oh my God, that's why
That
Kevin
must have
just...
sounded freaking hilarious as you
I
passed
thought she was
out.
talking about, because like every quarter, we have a big sale at work.
Oh,
It's all sales now. It's always a sale. And then you got to decorate the showroom and put your streamers up, and you got to go out and get balloons, and then you have to take a picture of it and send it to your area manager just so he knows that like nobody fucking cares about this sale, but so my boss refused to get the helium balloons because I had told him the story about how we're running out of helium, and he goes, "No, I'm conserving the helium we have. We shouldn't be wasting our precious helium reserves for balloons." But which the side note, the U.S. has the largest underground helium supply left in the world. Like we're like the controllers of helium.
Don't let Kevin in there.
That's
He'll
why
pass out.
That's why the Hindenburg had to fill up with hydrogen because we wouldn't sell helium to Germany.
Listen, I mean, balloons
FYI.
are nice and stuff, but it's like, but when Kevin told me that story, I kept thinking to myself, "Oh, that explains a lot."
That's hilarious.
So,
hey man, I'm feeling kind of a little lightheaded. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah, but yeah,
it's here comes Jen. That's freaking. Jess was just telling us a story of Kevin when he was in high school, sucked on a helium balloon and passed out.
I'm not surprised.
On helium.
I'm not surprised.
Not a whippet. Helium.
It restricts your brain cells.
Yeah.
Well, here comes Jen.
Oh,
see, Jen's on. Yeah, see, me and Jen, we got the science behind it.
Bill Nye the Science Girl
knows what I'm talking about when I say whip it. I was like, wait, you did like actual, like real, like something? No, a helium balloon though.
Yeah.
It's still that's how your vocal cords, how your voice gets higher. It's restricting.
I don't know. I guess I have a high tolerance of.
Listen, both you guys are afraid of frogs, so I'm gonna believe you guys.
You did whippets, which is nitrous, which is different from helium.
Balloons and stuff too. Yeah. You don't think like we also were like taking glue and shit, like anything to get a high. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
just lost me on that one. I was all with you, just on the helium.
Just getting the scented magic markers and just shoving them up their nose.
Markers. Did you ever sniff a marker?
No.
See, Kevin has no clue. That's why I'm saying that's why the helium thing's even funny.
High though, I just wanted to see what.
But like,
Jess is talking like you ever see that show?
Have you never seen that on the news where those kids were like doing the glue and shit? I didn't do that, but I'm saying like.
Everybody used to huff glue. But did you ever see the show? I think on Netflix about the White family in West Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Creepy.
The uncle who's completely destroyed his brain from huffing gasoline.
Yeah.
That's it. He literally would sniff the gasoline and get high.
My buddy Tom, I had mentioned earlier, his dad was a body guy, and he had one guy working for him with the turpentine. He would actually, because being in the body, they always had to wear respirators and masks. He would put turpentine on a rag, and then he would sneak it inside his mask, and then he just huffed turpentine, and he was high all day long because body guys,
crazy,
that's it.
That's why I never could understand why like some of those like they would do all kinds of stuff with like glue and all kinds of shit. And I was like, why?
Yeah,
but that's Kevin.
Glue.
But that reminds me, we were watching Snowpiercer last week. And they had the respirators on, and they were going like,
they were like, just
and then I'm like, I'm like, no, they are not wearing the correct respirator for that poison they breathe in. I go, they don't even have like their filters clipped in. I go, and if they had filters, they would be wearing the pink ones for that gas that they're dry. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Said, Kevin,
this is bullshit. And I was mad.
But I said, this is make believe. This is not even happening. Who gives a shit? Like, who even cares? This is all make believe.
But also I was that same guy when we were doing the Tires Plus commercial. We were filming it, and I kept interrupting, and I'm like, that's wrong. You're doing that wrong. It's not the way. Like they wanted people to pour oil. So, like you pour it out, and like I was the guy pouring the oil because nobody could fucking do it the right way, and they're like, oh, we got. I'm like, hey, you're pouring the bottle wrong. It's designed to be poured the opposite way, so you have to switch around. They're like, no, I don't think so. I go, yeah, I think so. And then they're like the director's like, you think anybody's gonna notice? I go, if I was watching this commercial, I'd fucking notice. And so nobody could pour, so they had me doing it because I knew how to pour oil the right way.
Kevin, you should just put a one ad for being a technical advisor on movies.
They said during the next commercial that they were gonna bring me on as technical advisor.
Listen, that should be Kevin's job because you can't watch TV or movies.
No, I refuse to let them do anything. That was wrong. I'm like, no, not happening. Wrong way to do it.
It is. I mean, it's bad when you watch it in a movie and you're like, this is just. I get a little picky sometimes. I mean, there's some things I will let some things go. I'll take, I'll be like, all right. But there's some situations I'm like, that's no effing way. That's ridiculous. And then I lose interest in the movie because at that point in time, you're trying to sell me on something that's not plausible.
Now I'm sure Jen being in, working in a hospital. I mean, do you ever watch like anything with hospitals? I'm like, that's not the way,
of course
that's not the way doctors do things.
Yeah, I'd have to say one of the better of the series was House. Actually, was more accurate with what they did. Yeah. House, I love that series.
I love that show.
Oh, okay,
great, and I'll still rewatch it. They still made a lot of mistakes, but it was definitely
Anatomy.
I never watched it.
Oh, I've never really watched
ER's a
it
joke.
ER was ridiculous.
Oh, was it? Was ER bad?
Yeah,
fucking horrible. It was ridiculous. But the interesting show that we used to watch was The Nick.
Yeah,
and it was how the turn of the century and the advancements in medicine at the turn of the century, and they would use real events and real things and kind of marvel it in, like when they first invented the X-ray, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this! You can see your bones. Quick, get the kids. Let's take X-rays of them." Like
that was they had that in the feet, the shoe store. You could like have you could put.
It was amazing that they didn't realize it,
and they didn't realize.
And the doctors were all hopped up on cocaine. Yeah, because of the medical medicine grade cocaine. They're like, okay, we got to send you to rehab. We have this new thing called morphine that's going to help you out because instead of
heroin. Heroin.
That's it. Because instead of you going to the hash bar and laying down and smoking hash and freaking smoking opium, going to the opium den and smoking opium to calm down, we're gonna put you in this new program where we're gonna give you heroin that's gonna make you feel a shit ton better.
Yeah, the Iridium Girls with their mouth.
I like that movie.
That movie was crazy.
I didn't watch it. You watched it with that?
I read the book first, and then I watched it. It was fucking fantastic, and
it was great.
It was
and
all
growing
in
up
New Jersey.
Well, growing up in New Jersey and in the hospitals too, you talked about
playing it around and putting makeup on their face so they glow in the dark.
Putting the brush in your mouth.
But I thought it was so interesting too how that really was like what caused them to finally get like better working conditions and all the laws started to change.
Their graves are still radioactive. You go there to that area, you still freaking and even old watch factories, they still have to go through and make sure that it's freaking clear of radium and clear of
I thought the Madame Curie movie was good too.
Yeah, it was all right.
I thought it was good. Not as good
as
they
get a little funky sometimes a little trippy with some of the shit, but it was definitely interesting how they were just like, okay, this didn't work, just throw it out the window.
Well, I mean, when we have a site that was owned by Lockheed Martin in Sarasota, and it was a machine shop, and they dealt with mainly beryllium, which is highly radioactive. And like they weren't dumping things in the ground. It was nothing like, but it was there so long, like just so much dust in the buildings, and then just what naturally settled in the ground. And they're still trying to figure out how to, decontaminate the site. And it wasn't anything purposeful. It was just because it was so long.
What was the movie? Kevin liked that movie with the guy from the Hulk when he plays the lawyer.
Oh, with the water.
Yeah,
I can't think of it. It was good.
Aaron Brockovich?
No. It was a newer movie.
Okay, because I know she had the water thing too.
Yeah, this was it was a story about a farmer was contacting this lawyer from their hometown, and then his cattle were sick, kind of showing stuff.
Yeah.
And it was DuPont, and basically, and at the end,
Mark Ruffalo.
Was in it,
and the movie is called.
It was a great movie.
Was it from the fracking or no?
No.
Dark Waters.
Dark Waters.
You gotta watch. It's fantastic.
And what's crazy about it, at the end, they talk to you about all the chemicals that they dumped from DuPont. That every one of us has Teflon in our body.
Oh yeah.
It's because it's impossible. Your body can't break it down and it can't excrete it.
Like that you say that because like at work we can't obviously sell anything that where the Teflon is all messed up in the pots and pans and all that stuff. And like people are like, why? I'm like, because it's poisonous.
They were dumping it in the water.
You can't eat that. And like people look at you like
great movie.
Oh, I've been cooking in this pan forever. Yeah, you ate a bunch of Teflon.
Oh yeah, it was
the poisonous.
That's where DuPont, of the Cuyahoga River in Ohio, where it caught fire one day.
Yeah.
Like the entire, but that was same in New York, Chicago, way back in 30s, 40s. I mean, they just dumped everything.
They just thought it was just going to go out to the ocean.
Just go out to the ocean. That's all it was. Yeah, when the river caught fire, and it's like DuPont was like, maybe we should stop dumping the stuff in the river. It's
well, they always talk about like when like a lot of birth defects happen and all that stuff in those areas. It's the cancers and all that stuff. It's
crazy stuff, man. I mean, it's amazing, that obviously there's a reason why there's regulations now, but I think a lot of regulations are bullshit. But I mean, we still kind of had that mentality in the US that, we need to do this, do that. And then you're like, have you ever seen China? They really don't have if there's a hole in the ozone layer, it's right over China.
Yeah.
Right over China because they just pollute the shit.
Yeah,
no regulations, no care in the world.
You look at like in India and Pakistan, these rivers, and like people are literally they're backing trucks up and just dumping the garbage like into the river, and it's just so you can't even be in it, and it's just like, and they want to say coal. Oh, we can't burn coal here. It's bad.
Yeah, can't burn coal. Well, look what happened during COVID when they had all the lockdowns and everything in India. How clear the skies got.
Yeah.
Just from all the smog being lifted. It's just amazing.
The air quality.
If that wasn't a reality check for a global concern, instead of everybody getting their assholes in a tightwad thinking that, I'm going to drink out of a fucking plastic straw, so therefore the ozone layer is going to freaking melt. Right. Really? Did you see what happened when they didn't allow people to travel in India for a couple of weeks?
It was the same leading up to the Beijing Olympics. China, like everybody that had a car, it was like the old gas cards. You get gas on this day. People weren't allowed to drive. They were taking up to 1 million cars per day off the streets for 6 months a year. Just so when the Olympics went on, then the residents said, like, we've never seen like clear air in our lives. Like it's always been smog.
Well, they have that whole thing where people buy they buy air online, which is so crazy. Have you seen that where actual people from China will buy air?
I can believe it. I mean, it's freaking it's a heavily polluted country, and if you're gonna host the Olympics and you got Olympic athletes needing to breathe and they can't because the air quality is that low, it's like, okay, get your shit in order. Yeah, and it blows my mind.
But it was the point after that, like, why didn't you keep that up? If it was a small inconvenience, I don't know. I don't live there, so
I have no idea.
Why not just keep doing that?
Right.
To keep the air quality good, just keep restricting how many cars are on the road at any given. I don't know if that's feasible. So who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know.
We'll see a report on that or a study on that in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Well, on that note, I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jess.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Jen.
And remember,
bullies
make good friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.